Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one. Back with another one. All right, it's Sunday Madness 22. We're going to talk about glorified echo chambers. I listed 5 things that we need to talk about glorified echo chambers. Let me get started. Let me see what this is. Glorified echo chambers. Here we go. Glorified echo chambers. We're here. We're here now. We're going to go into, got to get inside my studio real quick. Oh, everything's on deck. Everything's on deck. How y'all doing? How y'all doing on this Sunday afternoon? But it is what it is. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. This is not entertainment. Nope. We're going to talk about this bullshit right now. Yeah. I know people are bouncing in and out. But yeah, on this notice, this is the 22nd edition of Sunday Madness, of course. You know how that goes. And I just found out that the election from France, Macron won the election. Technically, it was like a landslide. I think it was like 58% he won, and Le Pen had like what 41%, and she's hurt by that loss. And the French people have spoken on both sides. They didn't want her ass. It reminds you of that Trump election that I saw in 2016. That's what it reminds me of. It's a repeat of history. I knew he was going to win because it was a landslide. A lot of people trusted him more than them other candidates. Other candidates, it was just reaching. Other candidates was reaching. It's done by design, but you know how that goes. But anyways, to the topic, we're going to talk about what I've seen lately on YouTube, and you have so many echo chambers, man. Like you got so many echo chambers on YouTube. It's fucking ridiculous. Like I can't tell you how many echo chambers I done seen over the years. And since I came back and started doing content again last year around this time in April, and this has been a year since I'm doing this type of live stream and things like that and everything else. And the first one we're going to talk about, of course, we're going to talk about gatekeeping. That's number one. Number two, we're going to talk about idol worship. Number three, we're going to talk about false leadership, kind of like false prophets, false leadership, what you see around on the internet. A lot of brainwashing is going on. And I had a discussion with my pops talking about the historical stuff. We was in the car. I was going to Costco's and shopping, whatever, and we was talking and we was walking around, whatever, right? And then the next part we're going to talk about propaganda topics like you see worldwide and habitual trauma bonding. What I see in these interweb spaces, it could be black or white. I'm saying it in general. It's sad, especially on this damn site because they birthed all this shit. So the 5 things are important. Habitual trauma bonding is number 5. Number 4 is propaganda tactics. Number 3, false leadership, idol worship, and gatekeeping. We're going to start with number 1, and this is very important when I say it's a lot of gatekeepers in these certain spaces. There's a lot, especially in the black ones specifically, and it's in general. The sad part, they're worse than the white gatekeepers. You know what I've noticed? A lot of them have a lot of nut riding followers. They're brainwashed and they're mind fucked a lot. I've noticed that the incident I showed you last week or this past week, Thursday, I think it was last Thursday, past week. It was on DTN5. I showed you the problem with Ramil and Ty City. It's not a real issue. Ramil's destroying this motherfucker, man. Like the guy flip flops a lot. AKA known as Exclusives, the GOAT. But people forget he was known as Shannon. So Shannon better chill out because I know the story between you and Cerulli, but I ain't gonna get into that. It's no here or there, but he's another gatekeeper, and there's a lot of them out there. And then you got this woman sphere character. He tried to say something. I watched his replay last night or early this morning. It's a bunch of bullshit. Both of them are liars, piece of shit. Just like these modern day manosphere idiots on 2.0. They're all the same. These are all bitch ass niggas, by the way. Because I stand alone over here. Like I said, I don't follow nobody. I don't gatekeep. I'm not an idol worship. I'm not a false leadership. I show decent leadership, kind of true leadership. And then you think for yourself. And I tell you this, go research for yourself. Even my content, I tell you, like, if I'm saying something wrong, go research yourself. I provide links. I do all that. And the 4th thing, propaganda tactics, I don't do that. I don't try to promote that. I show evidence all the time. If you ask me anything or anything on this platform, or if you hit the link or the panel, whatever, I'll give it to you. But the habitual trauma bonding, I'm not here for that. That's not acceptable over here. I ain't gonna do that. I'll just give you a solution to fix the shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm more solution oriented. That's where I'm at with it now. And the reason I did this, I slept on this and I thought about the ideas what I was going to talk about. I said the gatekeeping is the biggest one. I think gatekeeping is the worst thing. It doesn't help a lot of people. If you're trying to advance in the world, a lot of gatekeepers stop you from doing what you're doing. And I noticed this. It's not just the black space we see all the time. We see a lot of fuckness over here. You go to white space, it's the same old shit. Just like in the audio community. Like I did those 2 recordings yesterday, and I saw for observation a lot of people's divided, biased as hell. And it's the bullshit that I cannot stand on YouTube. And this is why I don't take this shit seriously, because these people are not serious about changing shit. They just like to fuck shit and stay where they at. And I understand it. I mean, I do my content as usual and then be about my business. If I say something relevant, it resonates with people, and that's it. If it don't, bam. But one thing I can say about it, it's helped me a lot to understand that most people just don't give a fuck. But if you're helping a select few of people, you understand what's going on. Now, the echo chambers, it's a broad statement, it's subjective, but the reason I list these 5 things, it matters. We have a lot of gatekeepers trying to control your minds and brainwash you. That's part of it. That's a form of gatekeeping, and they try to stop you from advancing, whatever. So it's a lot of that going on. So number 1 is self-explanatory. I'm not going to get in much into it because y'all basically know you got a lot of gatekeepers. You know what they're about. They're on their bullshit, and they mislead people. Various on subject matter, a lot of times. But it's really fucking sad. But then the idol worship, here's number 2. I'm going to go in on this one. I'm going to talk long on this one. Idol worship, you have a lot of idols, right? Like we say to those individuals, no matter if it's black or white spaces, we call them, a lot of people call them what? You ever heard this term, YouTube daddies? Yeah. YouTube daddies is short for idol worship. You worship a motherfucking content creator and he's brainwashed you all the time, right? And I hear this a lot. Why don't they just, if y'all say that one more time, why don't y'all just call them idol worshipers, man? Why don't y'all just call them, they worship their idol? It's very self-explanatory. Stop saying YouTube daddies. There ain't nobody's daddy on here. They're fucking idol worship. Or mamas on here. They're YouTube mamas on here. If you want to get technical, be that. All I call it is idol worship. Oh, if I talk bad about your idol, then you want to attack me. But, certain people have a point. When you talk about idol worship and things like that, most people get upset when you talk about these things. And then when we criticize them, then they want to attack you on shit. Now, he does have a point. The so-called GOAT, by the way. He ain't nothing greatest of all time about that fucking nigga. But like I said, man, like it's the shit that I see a lot. And a lot of times people just want to be on some bullshit. So when you're dealing with gatekeepers, like that's number 1, what we're dealing with, they gatekeep the field. And then you got guys that also, should I say, idol worship, and they worship them way too much. And I'm not saying I have idol worships. I'm not one of them by any means, because I don't do that shit. I think for myself like everybody else, unlike most people here, because you got to understand something. Most people just don't give a shit. And they speak on things that matter sometimes. And you look at this all the time. I'm not really upset what's going on. And a matter of fact, that you see this a lot. And then things people think we're going to just, it's going to be here and just be satisfied. So again, I'm not really worried about the next person like that. Sometimes I think for myself, because this past year I learned a lot from last year. And you got individuals that just don't want to be a part of this, normally. So I'm not really upset what's going on. A lot of people just want to get upset about the same old bullshit over and over. And I'm far from it. Like, look, I'm a type of dude, I don't serve nobody's idol. I don't give a fuck about their idol. I don't care who it is. They ain't shit to me. Because my interaction with them, I know they ain't shit. Quiet as kept, and I'll show you an example. Like last year, Man, Angry Man, right? First time I met him, I'll say March 2nd on Kuda stuff for the first time. And I never heard the third shit. It was in my algorithm. And I'll tell you, see, Kuda got mad. I trolled him. What I said in the MOT chat. I'm gonna break this down. He got sensitive and he got in his feelings like he did again. That's the second time I did this to him over Tie Cities. See, let me tell you something. When I soft troll niggas and when I say certain words, niggas get triggered. Like, I don't even have to do too much. Like, I understand how y'all think on this internet shit because y'all showed y'all's fucking hand, man. Like, I never understood that. And that always irked me when I start doing content. And then when I came back doing content again, that always irked me why people have a soft ass mind. Shouts out to Cookie Monsters for saying that. Like, a lot of you people, I would say male and female, y'all soft minded. Y'all not really hard minded. Y'all take shit way too personally. I mean, I don't. I mean, I do sometimes as a content creator. You know, it's my fault at times. I'll admit that. I'll say a few instances, but not a lot. That's cap. No, sometimes I'm just sick of the bullshit that y'all be saying, man. That gets on my nerves. It's a difference. Because when you idol worship someone, that irks my nerves. And then I have to go at you harder. And it's sad, you know, and we gotta do this all the time because a lot of niggas, they be on some bullshit, bro. And including that so-called GOAT motherfucker, man. It ain't nothing special about that nigga. I agreed on one thing I can say. I agreed on him on some things about you niggas, but I don't agree with him on everything. Hell no, that nigga is still a clown. He's been challenged, and I don't take him seriously. I really don't take nobody serious on YouTube, and I shouldn't, and I never did. I never will. I take my own advice, and what I do is I do my own research, and I just move on and move forward. I don't give a fuck about nobody on here like that. And that's sad that I think like that, but it's the truth. You know, you got to take this shit like a grain of salt. And normally, when I mention about idol worship, it is a big problem. That's what killed this internet shit. And I can go back to the days that the 5 things I'm mentioning has got worse after 2012. And one of my observations. What's going on, Wacky Shalom? What up? And it's the bullshit that I see a lot, and I'm glad I saw that stupid clip that he did. He was trying to, it was for 8 hours about Black Woman Spirit, but you know, that hoe and everybody else, like a lot of these niggas, they ain't shit, bro. They saying the same dumbass shit I've heard decades ago. I've seen this in the workplace. Like, you niggas ain't talking about nothing. What's going on, May? Salute. And then when you talk about false leadership, we're going to get into idol worship. Idol worship is the worst thing. Like, I've noticed this. Idol worship, like when I say idol worship, I'm talking about niggas that y'all deem as your idol, your role models. Like, these niggas ain't role models, man. They've been exposed by certain niggas, man. What I've seen off-air conversations, back chats, and then you know what I said? I don't even want to air these niggas out, man. I'll clown them and roast them what they fucking saying half the time. Yeah, I screenshot. I do that for the Daily Thursday News Network to show you what type of bullshit the niggas be on. They don't care about being black. They just want to be coons, man. They love the coon shit. And I understand it. See, I'm a semi-pro black, but I stopped being pro black a long time ago in 2011. And it's sad. It's a piece of you, but you can't help what you see. And it's sad. It's sad that you see this a lot, but it's done by the time. A lot of it is just they want to be on TV. And I had to learn to accept that over time. When I started doing content, actually, again, I had to learn to accept the bullshit. Like, man, these niggas ain't gonna do shit. And I slept on this too. And I said, you know what? Let me talk about idol worship. This is a long one because I want y'all to get the gist of what I'm saying. Idol worship is bad. It's bad enough people worship KS. I don't give a shit about him, by the way. I don't care. He's irrelevant. But the other niggas that y'all don't put on the fire, where's the smoke for them? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bullshit on all sides. That's why I say fuck all these niggas. I don't listen to stupid niggas like them every day. I just can't do it, bro. I ain't even subscribed to they bitch asses. Now, I was subscribed to one of them. My mistake. I was just trolling him and fucking with him and try to be neutral with him, but his bitch ass got emotional by association. He's getting cooked all day, every day. He ain't above approach either. He gonna get this work over here. But back to these other niggas. But y'all know who I'm talking about, Mr. Utilitarian himself, so-called Gnostic, but even though he's not, he's a fraud. Just like the rest of these niggas, man. I challenge everybody. That's what I do. And they challenge me on my shit, and I'll challenge on their shit. They got bodied several times intellectually by certain people. Don't get me started. Them niggas ain't shit. They get aired out real quick. Fucking with me over here. Yeah, I got the screenshots. Don't fuck with me over here. You get bodied over here. I don't play nice. You can make a stream about me. I don't give a shit. I ain't watching that bullshit. I just don't fuck with you. It's just what it is. And that's why I call it Sunday Madness. It's a free for all topics. And, you know, the NBA playoffs is fantastic. Hearing great things. I know everybody's controlling KD like their fucking idol. He ain't shit now. Even though I liked him as a player in the beginning, but he acts like a whiny little bitch at the end. You know, he just showed his hand. He can't lead no leadership. The Nets are done. I'm just going to say right now, the Nets are done. If they keep this up, they're finished. But let's go to false leadership. You got a lot of false leadership that's misleading people. And this is why you have the incelium problem. I saw this 2 years ago. A lot of niggas want to get mad about true leadership and things like that. None of these niggas have true leadership. They have false leadership. And they just mislead them saying dumb shit. That's why you got that Frank James character brainwashed. That's why you got guys like that. And then they believe David Carroll's the truth. I don't fuck with David Carroll. I haven't said this publicly. I haven't said this on YouTube or anything. David Carroll to me is a coon. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody says. I don't like the nigga like that. He always hating on black men. A lot of people try to say we hate on black men. No, this nigga's a coon, bro. He's very right wing. He's on that other side. I don't fuck with dude like that. I remember when he first came years ago on YouTube, he wasn't shit. Why do you think he went to Black Avenger trying to claim he's black? That nigga's a coon. He loves the white man. And the only person that challenged him on this shit actually did content against him was Black Pride. Black Pride is the only content creator I listened to cook this nigga from 10 years ago, and I watched his pre-records for years, and it starts with a Y. It's not Pride with an I, it's with a Y with the Panther. I think he's still around, but he don't do content like he used to. I watched him back in the day. He used to cook David Carroll, Boys Walkers, all these coon niggas, man. All these coon niggas, man. Yeah, what's going on, Leticia? Salute. And it's just like, why worship this man? He is showing false leadership years ago. He's always had like Oblivion, aka Obsidian. I call him Oblivion. He's oblivious to bullshit. Then you got your Mr. Utilitarian, thinks he's utilitarian all the time, and Black Pilled. He's full of shit. All these niggas, man. Mal Manor Man. Always lying, say, woe is me. They hate me because I'm a villain. Like, shut your bitch ass up. Nobody likes your ass, nigga. You're a fucking loser. And you got a Billiken ass character. What's his name? Call himself the Grinch. Fuck that little sweet fruit ass nigga too. I was about to say the other word, but I caught myself because I don't want to get straight. But you know how these weirdos are. He's another one. All them bitch ass niggas, man. And then you got this nigga named so-called GOAT. Fuck him too. Why y'all worship these bitch ass niggas, man? They're losers, bro. They showed you time and time again. They don't give a fuck about their followers. They don't give a fuck about you. All they want is they fucking cash app, they ducats, and they want your fucking minds. Let's go to Patreon and spew more bullshit. It's like religion, you know. And in the part we're gonna get is number 5. It's a relevance to the third thing, false leadership. It's the same shit, And then the next part is gonna be very interesting. We're gonna talk about the tactics in a minute, but we're gonna talk about false leadership. False leadership is simply you're misleading people with misinformation, bullshit about both genders. I would say black and white. I'll say black women and black men, and especially black people, period. And finally, what's going on, Nadia? Hail Gray Skull. But you know, I'm just saying, this is one of the things I can't understand about niggas and certain white folks and idiots. Why the fuck do you care about anyone's true leadership and they don't even display none outside of this shit? I heard stories how bad they are. True leadership comes within. You gotta care about yourself. You gotta make sure you're straight and help others. You gotta be selfless. You can't be an asshole to people all the time. I see this a lot. Your personality has to be interested enough that people take interest in how you survive all this shit. Most people love bullshit. They love circles, man. Like, shouts out to Dre for saying that. That's his talking point. Shouts out to DeAndre for that himself. That shit is annoying, bro. Like, I don't understand why people love false leadership. It's a lot on YouTube. Now, it's not just a black set. This is all sectors of YouTube. I've studied this shit for years, and they promote this shit like it's cool. And you niggas co-sign it. That I just don't understand why I love it so much. I get the gist, but god damn, man. Like everywhere I watch content, right? I've been watching tech stuff and other things too. But niggas talk about the same shit, and everybody else is talking about different things and moved on from shit. What's going on, nigga? What's going on? Like, I'm not even at this point, I'm not really deep down mad. I'm just tired of the bullshit. Just to be honest, for me, like, what is so great about these sorry ass niggas on panels and shit, and your idols not getting challenged on this shit? I could challenge them shit intellectually all day, but these niggas still believe in their own bullshit. And I'm not even mad. That's just who they are. They love this echo chamber like behavior. I'm no echo chamber. If y'all want to challenge me on some shit that y'all don't like, y'all can go right ahead. But I'm not gonna let you defend these bitch ass niggas on the internet. I'm just not. I'm gonna call out the bullshit, what it is, and they ain't shit. And this is the main problem I have on YouTube, because it's you got black and white and every other race think like this because they love these weak ass niggas, man. That's sad, man. It's not really sad, it's pathetic. Why in the fuck did y'all care about these motherfuckers? They don't care nothing about you. Quiet as kept. They rather see you die and be miserable. Spend all your damn money on they weak asses. It's just like going to church. It's the same bullshit. Me and my dad was talking about masonry, right? I have a cousin that was part of Prince Hall. I argued with him back in the day, and I told him, I did my research in the history of it. I told him, just be careful. They side with the elite white Masons all day, and these, the other J's over there. And he got pissed, and we debated back and forth. This is when I was listening to guys like Brother Dawood and Bobby Him and a few other guys and scholars. And offline, I was talking to people that was in that shit too. And you know what my cousin said to me? He said, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I side with them, try to act like they my brothers. It's in GA. They have a territory somewhere in GA too, a lodge in GA, right? This nigga argued me down and defend these niggas, just like you see on the internet right now. Same old shit, an echo chamber. I'm like, what the fuck? You defending these bitch ass motherfuckers? That's gay as hell. I'm like, don't get me started. I would say the other way. I wish we can, but goddamn, the censorship on here is bullshit. I was thinking about the website that's better than this, and I'm still looking. I'm trying to see a loophole. Next thing you know, I'm over there, but I'll still do content over here. It's just it. If I create another channel, it's going to be probably political driven, but it may be, I might have to do current events and show clips. I don't know, man, because I'm looking at what type of genre I would like to do, because there's so many you can do. This shit, it's pretty simple. See, what I do is I talk about everything. I talk about the essence of philosophy, current events and politics and philosophy of it, and the dark history stuff. That's it. But if I want a channel that's tech-based, I can make that separate. And it's not easy. And then you got to have subject matter. Relationship topics is another thing. False leadership in that. Because you got niggas like KS trying to say, well, the woman's supposed to be dead. Basic as hell. I'm like, motherfucker, you sound stupid. This ain't no fucking Christianity shit. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Worse than these other niggas, man. But let's get on to number 4. Propaganda tactics. Propaganda. Like you see in relationship topics. They want you to get married at a certain age, which is bullshit. Everybody has a different requirement of a marriage age. Everybody's opinions on marriage varies. It's opinions, and sometimes it turns into facts. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Marriage is kind of like, it takes work. Both of my parents can tell you, because they almost married 40 years. It'll be like that in 2 years from now. So they've been married 38 years, 39 years next year, and be 40 going on in 2024, because they've been married since 84. So that's a long fucking time. And they could tell you better than can. Even my pastor tell you, it takes work. And shouts out to Ruin. He said his take work. He told me off air, and he said that, yeah, it takes work. It's not easy. And shouts out to Dre that come through here last year, said that, yeah, it takes work. And we was talking about it, and I was thinking about what they said, and I was thinking about what my parents were saying. We talk about this off air a lot, and even off this shit too. He said, yeah, it takes work. It ain't easy, but you can't let selfishness in front of the kids all the time. Once you have that established, you got to get your mind right. See, I don't talk about marriage and relationships as much. I'm going by based off my intermediate family, like my parents. I use them as an example. I can't speak on it. I was in a relationship years ago. It just didn't work out, and then it just went sideways. But after that, I fuck it on a few years? Yeah, trusting that individual, but she was messed up. She was molested when she was young. So I dealt with the consent type women like that. You know, they always fall in love with me. I don't want them. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them types. And I was just happened to be there. And she picked me out of the lineup, right? And I was different than half of these dudes. Now she wanted something. So it was my mistake. I didn't know she was broken. Here's the secret. At the time, I was like, I'll tell you how old I was. In 08, I was like 20. I didn't know any better. I just moved to GA. I was moved in Atlanta at the time. And she picked me out of the lineup. This was back in 08. This is like after the election of Obama, right? This bitch wanted me for a while, and it's just what it is, man. Like I've had her for like months, cut her off around my birthday, and went sour. She wanted me. She was crazy love. She was very clingy as hell. And yes, she was a typical Libra. She was an October Libra, by the way. But it don't really matter. It don't really matter. But she was decent until the bullshit. And she was attached to certain dudes, and I just couldn't deal with it, you know, because at the time I was young. But I think I was already red pill in it. Then I got out of it. I just went ballistic afterwards. And then after that, you saw the growth of this channel. You know, I lost my first channel because I was on some fuck shit in the beginning when you're young. And when I got into the knowledge at 23, I'll say 2011, really into knowledge. Now, I was into knowledge years ago as a Christian, but I was winging away from Christianity. I got tired of it in 09 and 21. Once I got to be 23, I have a different mindset. And that's when I started doing content like this later on. When I lost the channel and started doing this shit grew like evergreen, man. It took time. Like you see me now. I was different back then in my 20s. In my 30s, I have a different perspective how to look at things now. I'm not really mad as I used to when I was younger. I grew out of half of that stuff, but I still have that red pill mindset not to hate women all day. That's not me. Because if you're truly red pill, you got to survive everything. It's not about women. It's about how you control yourself in situations. I don't preach that bullshit. I keep that shit to myself and survive fucking out here. You see, you niggas take that shit too far, man. Don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. And the propaganda tactics is they push relationships. That's the tactics I cannot stand. And I fight it all the time. I'm glad I don't do those topics because I would have been gone a long time ago and been on different platforms. I wouldn't have cared. But I'm glad I stuck to this, what works for me. People that don't talk about, they put me in the corner with the bad guys, and I learned to accept it. I had to move on. And it helped me a lot to learn about people. So when people deal with bullshit all day, you understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But that's the propaganda tactics. I've seen a lot of great tactics, and then they did one with misleading you in groups. You see that a lot in other areas. You see that Instagram, Twitter, and try to get you to co-sign a group. It's fucking crazy. But you can't get mad at the world and expect people to hand shit to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really upset when people get mad at me about things. I learned to let things go. Like over time, it's petty a little bit. Yes, I'm petty sometimes a little bit. I admit it. But I'm not going to lie to myself. There ain't no problem with me sometimes. But I fight through the pain and just go through the shit. But once you got that blessing, it matters. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not tripping off this shit. I'm really not. Because if y'all really want to get technical, I'm really not. You know, goddamn, you know, I'm just in here. So shouts out everybody in here. And it's crazy. And he said these YouTube idol worshipers need to get played by their YouTube daddies in order for them to learn not to idol worship anymore. Exactly. It takes time, man. Just right back to number 2. We'll get back to the habitual tribal body, man. I'm just gonna read the comments for it, and we got 29 minutes in. So yeah, that's exactly Wacky. See, he understands what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like that. And he had another one. He said, if the Nets get swept in this series, most likely they will. Steve Nash will be fired as head coach. Of course. Same old shit. You see it on TV, you see it on here. It's just ridiculous shit. This is just a broader statement talking. Oh, not a problem. Yeah, it's just like I don't understand the fact that people be on that bullshit, bro. Let's read this again. I'm still wondering how people view content creators as leaders. Leadership is based on what you do in the real world, not on the internet. Exactly. See, right there. right there. See, the reason I put this number 3 wacky is because the false leadership, they think, see, what's wrong with the internet? And this is what killed the internet too. Internet, you don't need leaders. You be your own leader in outside world. You use the internet as a tool for information. You use it for your work. You use it for certain things. If you don't know how to do something, you know how to do stuff. And then you got some things, if you want to get into certain industries, yeah, it helps. It's a tool. That's all the internet is. I learned this as a kid. Even my dad built computers and stuff, even though he's an artist or whatever. But outside of the world, you're supposed to be a leadership, your own home and everything else. It's pretty much simple. But when I use false leadership, because they use the celebrity shit and mainstream media forcing our fucking faces on here, I gotta call it out. And if you're not leading people the right direction to helping them, yeah, and it's sad. Yeah, and that's a good view as content creators. Yeah, that's how they view it, and it's sad. It's just like religion. I did a stream called Trauma Bonding. Is it a religion? I said yes. It's sad, man. That's why I mentioned about gatekeepers. All this stems from glorified echo chambers. Got to talk about this, man, because this has been on my mind for a while. And people don't marry for love. The propaganda that people on here promote when most of them are unmarried. Exactly. See, there you go. There you go. I don't even have to explain what he just said right there. Yeah, that's the tactics. And the sad part, you got people content creation based off what they're doing right now. And when you have propaganda tactics like this, people are going to do what they're going to do. And I'm not even mad about what's going on. So we're going to get to the habitual shit in a minute because I see this a lot. And I'm just like, you know, the trauma bonding is very religious on here. And you see it on many panels. I don't really be out here like that, but sometimes I got to see it for what it is. So we're going to get to that just a second. But to cover his point, what he just said right here, I'm going to highlight this again. Hold on. I'm going to highlight this again. Yeah, and they're all unmarried. And you see it in these so-called manosphere spaces, and it's fucking sad. Like, dude, y'all ain't had the experience. I'm not even married. I can't speak on that. That's why I say I reference my family. They tell me about it. I use it online as experience to show you the gist, what they show me. See, I'm going by their example. I say, do I really want to do that? In my mind, I'd be like, nah, it's a risk. And it takes work. Do you even like that person? That's the thing. Do you like that person? See, the sex is okay, but do you like that person? Do you really, really like that person? That's what it boils down to. Do you really like that person? Do y'all have the same interests, same beliefs, and can y'all move forward? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't have it your way and all this other shit. It's just like, why? Why? And I'm not even mad at the fact that people are going to disagree, whatever. It's just what it is. How can you look at things like that and then y'all ain't even married? I can't take those people seriously. And it's just, is it me or it's just the bullshit just goes wow like that? Like, wow. And hey, teach his own. I'm not mad. It's just what it is. And I'm going to say it like this. I'm not even mad to the point to get mad at people like that. So again, you know, we look at things like this and people love echo chambers, man. They love them because it's like a religion. They feel like, oh, I can't be challenged. I can say what I want. I can be the man in the world, you know. And they act like nothing going to happen to them. But anybody can get touched in person, on here, and whatever. You're not going anywhere. Oh, they're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge you. Whether you like it or not is the question. Whether you have any doubts or not, it is what it is. So again, you know, you look at this stuff and you take heed to it. So I'm not really mad at this point, you know, and I think people should understand that when you have glorified echo chambers, we mentioned the 4 things: gatekeeping, idol worship, false leadership, propaganda tactics. And now we get to our last but not least, habitual trauma bonding. Habitual trauma bonding is kind of like blaming females for your own problems, especially the males in particular. Now, females do the same thing with the males. What they do is, it's understandable. Do I agree with everything they say? Hell no. Like, it depends on what type of females you're talking about. Now, if she's a real woman, and she knows how to be responsible, both sides should be responsible. I saw a clip from Michi X, and she was trying to talk about, I don't agree with everything she said about the independent woman thing. I ain't gonna get into that. That's a tricky subject, but she has a point. Both sides should be independent. Now, I do agree. Now, my mom said the same thing. Everybody should be self-sufficient. But to the point, she has some good points. I'm not gonna lie. She had talked about KS and everybody else, and they get tired of these conversations. Most people should. And I think the reason I'm covering this Sunday Madness, it's going to be a series where we're going to talk about, it's not just glorify echo chambers. I might do one for Mother's Day. What makes an echo chamber? Give me y'all example. I'm just going to point the question out. It's a question string. It's a string, but it's going to be a question in it. What makes an echo chamber? And I'm going to go back to this, and we're going to build off of it. So, again, it's going to matter what your preference is and what you see in whatever. So habitual trauma bonding can be anything. It could be like the men then turn into bitches, man. They just went crazy. And they just say, why they act like bitches? That's what the dog does. I see a dog acts like it. Right. Want attention. And then they say you don't want attention. I'm like, come on, man. And these dudes want to complain a lot. But one thing I noticed about habitual trauma bonding, they should need therapy. My answer is they should get a therapist or go outside, build your mind up, do something constructive. But shouts out to people that do martial arts on here, support their channels and just build your mind. Like, what is wrong with building your mind and get away from the bullshit? And what I used to do when I was playing ball, right? I mean, I'm out of shape. I need to get back into it, probably this summer, because I'm gonna take a long break and then come back somewhere around July something on the 24th. Because half of June, I'll do some accounts. I mean, not account. I'll do some content, and then I'm just gonna dip the mid of June. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. And that week I'm done, and I'll come back on, I'll say July 24th. I'm gonna be fair, because it's gonna be a long one. I don't see what the bullshit's all about with you niggas, man. I get away from this shit and do it that way, because that way I can get a feel what's going to happen, right? And that's the thing. So, just to come up with some content and things like that. But one thing I could say about the trauma bonding, a lot of people just love bullshit. They just love to complain about, oh, the women did this, they did that, the red pill is, we got to get what's the bullshit they be saying? We gotta recover from female nature and all that shit. I'm like, come on, these dudes are losers, bro. And I'm glad the feds is on their heads, man. These boys need therapists. You know what the feds should do? I know niggas are gonna hate me after this on the replay. They said, you know what the feds should do? Hire these niggas some goddamn sexual therapists. Hang them upside down, and then they get their release. That's what these niggas really want. They gonna hate me for that. They gonna hate me for that comment. That's this fucking nigga, man. I can't believe he done that too. Well, all that damn trauma, all that whining, bitching, complaining on panels, and going on certain content creators and fucking they shit up and derailing topics. Y'all proving my damn point. It is what it is. And then you niggas is probably what? Okay, to be fair, I'll say 30 plus to 70 plus on YouTube, which is pathetic. When I say 70 plus, I'm talking about people that's approaching 70 on here. That's followers. And you got dudes of 60 plus lying to people too. Yeah, that's the standard, but now they're going to reach 70 plus if they still around. It's sad. But they do. I'm seriously, if the feds did something for them, if they legalize prostitution, no matter what states they're in, they should get therapists or some mind therapists. Say, hey, do something constructive. That's what a therapist told me when I got depressed about shit. Why I had, it was a basketball thing. It was a combination of a lot of things. I was self-absorbed and all that. I got the help that I needed at I'll say from 18 to 23. And I was clinically depressed for those years. Before that, I was already depressed when my grandmother passed away. That was years ago when we was that close. And it changed. So I've been to a therapist before. I already know what that feels like. Y'all can ask me anything. It wasn't fun, but I didn't endure shit. But yeah, I was high legally, legalized drugs and shit. I admit my shit. Ask me anything. Yeah, medication has damn near crazy side effects, and I know I've been on that road. Y'all didn't ask me anything about that, and that's the main reason why I don't really promote it as much. But that's something you should do on your own and help your family next to you. That's a responsible person right there. Because most of you dudes, y'all need to get y'all lives right. Stop complaining about shit that don't even matter. These females are gonna be fine. The secret is if you change, they change internally. If you change internally, Shasta Diaz when he was teaching the 10 life values, and this should be a daily thing. You should been doing that. And it works. And you're supposed to be doing that. And next thing you know, like the scripture said, forget the passage, you should change with it because the Most High put you here for a certain reason. Because a lot of people, they just come and go and don't care. They're vessels. But a lot of dudes, they just want to be hard headed. Well, we just covered habitual trauma bonding. I didn't want to get into it much because a lot of you niggas are so damn sensitive. But that's all I got. Habitual trauma bonding is just bad, man. That's the biggest one that I want to cover because we're gonna talk about this shit, a lot of stuff. And that's just how it is, man. Like, I'm so sick of the bullshit. It's not even funny anymore. And when I say glorify echo chambers, I'm talking about what I see in the so-called manosphere and things like that. I don't fuck with it long term. I just don't. And shouts out to Ty City exposing certain people. And I'm glad Taz showed his ass, and I'm got that the screenshots that I needed for that show, like the DTN 5. It's very, very personal. And then you got a lot of niggas that are above age than me, think they know it all. They don't know shit, to be honest with you. I don't listen to they stupid asses no more. I'm unleashing the beast right now. So I'm so tired of the bullshit. What's going on? And I'm not really mad. I just don't like bitch assness. I just really don't. I'm tired of everybody's bitch assness on YouTube. And I've noticed I ain't getting much traction, and I respect that, and that's cool. And I'm getting to the point, like, dude, I'm tired of hearing it, bro. Like, relationship topics is stupid. It's always have been. It's always will be. It's always going to be one side bias. Both sides are not right. We know the woman's fucked up. But here's the thing. If the men change first, like I always say, I said this in every vlog stream, I said, you got to change yourself internally and to look forward. It's nothing wrong with marriage. It's nothing wrong with it. If you want to get married, that's your choice. Everything's a choice. But the marriage part, it's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with procreation. I'm pro that on this channel. I'm not anti-marriage. Y'all do know that. I never will be. Because anybody's anti-marriage, that's on you. You know, I don't promote that shit. You already got enough idiots that hate themselves like that. They'd rather die like that. That's why you got a lot of incels. A lot of incels hate marriage. And y'all do know that. That's why I'm not pro incel. I'm anti incel because incels, I hate the term incel. So why don't we just call them true force loneliness or bitches? You ask me. They always bitch and complain about females. That goes for both races. And the reason I hate them so much is because they're terrorists, bro. They're insurgents. Some of them are, I would say a large portion are derelicts. Some of them are insurgents. You got vote sales. Like we saw that Mansfield meetup. It's a joke, bro. Like they get on my fucking nerves all the damn time. And they say the same redundant topics all the time. This is why I don't go on panels like I used to. I don't fuck with a lot of bitch assness in the world. Like I observe a lot of things on YouTube. I don't give a fuck about the next person like that. But they be on some bullshit. But shouts out to the ones that doing real content. I've been moving around lately, so I'm not really caring about any individual right now. So I got to the point, I'm like, look, the reason I did this topic, you got a lot of gatekeepers that I see a lot on YouTube. And I see this a lot. I go in on everybody. I don't care. The idol worship is bullshit. False leadership. I see a lot through these niggas on here. And then you got your, when I say false leadership, they think they're leaders on the internet. And that's the problem. You got a lot of people that follow you. You're like the leader of the community. And I learned something from that podcast show with there's a guy named Jared. I ain't subscribed to dude, but he did it with this Mexican dude, and he pointed out something. If you're in certain communities, you're like a leader of those communities, and people follow you. And I noticed that on YouTube. That's been like that forever. But the reason I put false leadership, a lot of these leaders, they ain't living like they say they are offline. But shouts out Duke of Don and everybody else. And he was saying that. That's why I put that there. And that's the problem. Most people look at it like that. That's why I say, is trauma bonding a religion? Yes, I say it's a big religion. I'm going to touch on this way more because this is why I've been observing all the time on YouTube. And it's crazy. It's stupid and crazy. And we know today is Sunday. A lot of brainwashing going on in the churches. A lot of, I don't want to go and say a lot of molestation, but that goes on in churches too. They try to say they don't do that. Yeah, they do. It was a guy said he was molested when he was young. He had the same name as me in the workplace, but shouts out to him. He has a YouTube, I think, movie or some shit. He told me to look at it years ago. Shouts out to the brother, man. I hope he's doing well, and he told me his story, what the church did to him. It's foul shit. And he let me know about it when I was working as a barista at the time. He just came out of the blue, just started talking to me about that. And then at first I didn't judge him. Here's the thing. I didn't judge him. I listened. I didn't know what to say to him. But at the time I gave him some advice, man. I mean, leave that shit alone. He left the church and everything years ago. And this is happened to him. He had to tell his story. It's fucked up. It's fucked up that you got people like that broadcasting here. Say, I don't do the consent talks like that. And that is much. But I understand what that brother went through, and it's fucked up. But it's not just him. Women, everybody go through that. But you can't take it out on people that you don't know, like especially the women. See, the men, they got problems, and I've noticed that. So I'm very careful how I talk to them. The ones that need help, it's those that need help. But the ones that don't want to be helped, I'm not fucking with y'all. Y'all can go over there with that bullshit. I'm helping the ones that want to change and fight through this shit. I mean, and if you dealt with a bad hand, I can listen. It's just what it is, man. Like, I'm up there with it. But the thing is, you can't be talking about conversation. I think Taz said something about the pedophile stuff, and that's what the incels is promoting. I don't like that shit. And I saw that 2 years ago. And he kept calling dude pedophiles. Well, there's some proof to that. If y'all co-sign that, that's a problem. Why you think the feds is on top of y'all's fucking heads? You dumb niggas. Be careful who you have on panels be fucking ruining shit that co-sign that shit. They'll say some wild shit on the internet, and that's why I stop fucking with certain people. And it happens. And do I agree with everything this so-called exclusive GOAT says? Hell no. He's full of shit. But that P-file shit, yeah, there's some shit like that in these spaces like that. I've noticed. I say who? It ain't no who. It's most of you niggas co-sign that shit. That's why there's a lot of incels in Obsidian's camp, aka Oblivion, and Mal Mannerman's camp. They co-sign that shit. And I'm not saying as a personal shot. I know it's for a fact. Y'all said this 2 years ago. Everything's recorded, nigga. Why you think that nigga harassed y'all on panels? They got y'all on tape, nigga. Feds already got y'all on tape saying that shit. See, they ain't got me on tape saying this shit. Because you know how I know? They fuck with certain people, dummy. They did this in 2012. They did this shit a long time ago. A lot of niggas need to stop fronting that y'all have these problems on your channels and shit. That weird shit y'all be commenting. People looking at that shit. They watch what y'all say now. It's fucked up, man. And that's why I can't take these dudes seriously religiously like that, because I'm not subscribed to no glorified echo chambers like that. No gatekeeping motherfuckers, no idol worship, no false leadership from them, because they ain't showing true leadership how to do things. If they, the experience matters. If they ain't showing you no experience how to lead, I cannot fuck with you. I ain't looking for leadership on the internet. I'm just saying right now, I'm not looking for that. I'm just saying a little bit of it, because if you're teaching the young people, right? Like I think Art and everybody else was saying is, if you're going to teach young people about life, if you're like, I'll say about 50 to 60 plus as an elder, you should show results of your leadership. Show and prove that shit, please. Don't tell me about it. Just show me. Not tell me. I'm just being real. You know, I swear I'm that with it with the number 3. Number 4, propaganda topics. I don't want to hear that bullshit. I'm with it. I'm up there with it. Then habitual trauma bonding. It is what it is, man. So let's see what she said right here. It's only a druid topic when it's irrelevant or useless to an individual. For men and women who are interested in saving Black relationships and families as a whole, it definitely matters. Yeah, it matters. Right? See that part what she just said. I agree with that. It definitely matters. See, it's the individual. I agree with her on this. Most I don't speak for. I can't speak for the women. I can speak for the men. Now the men that's really men on here, right? That's true. But a woman telling you this, fellas, this is kind of true on her side as well. They gotta want it to work. Like I'll give you an example. My mother, she want that certain shit to work. Now they still together. They may disagree on how they look at money and everything else. They want that shit to work. But the average people I see on here and offline, I see it's up and down. There's some people are married out here in GA. There's some people are divorced. Some people say fuck it, fuck the baby daddy and all that. It's a balance. It's like it's mixed. I'll say it like that. There ain't a lot of marriages, but there's some marriages still going on. But it ain't that many. Don't listen to these niggas on the internet tell you that. But she's right. It takes the individual of our own stock, especially the men and women, and the men determine that all the time. See, the women, they can stop that immediately. They have the power to stop that. If she know the man is trash, he is trash. And if I look at him based off his actions, not the way he looks, you'd be like, oh shit, he's a decent looking guy, but then he's an asshole. We see a lot of dirt on his face, you know, not dirt on his face, but his confidence or whatever. But that's the type of nigga that you see a lot. But they get on panels and talk a lot of shit and try to say that woman and woman. No, it could be your personality, sir. That's why I troll. That's why I use the Lapeef network as my piece. Yeah, I troll them a little bit, but I get the reference what they're talking about. When they have these co-ed panels, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to build something. Do I hate their channel? No, their channel's a little entertainment. It can be boring sometimes, but I noticed this one dude named Chaotic Truth. He went off on KA and Caleb. I'm gonna talk about that this coming Thursday. So you know, I got some shots on that. He was in an argument. I saw that shit. I said, "Oh my god, here we go." These niggas is wild. And then Q kind of checked Kayla, and what did Kayla said? She said, "I want to ask about the 3 races." I said, "Oh hell, here she go with that bullshit." Here she go with that bullshit. It is what it is. So I see this a lot. And I think a lot of times people just going to look at it for what it is. And you see this a lot of times. I think a lot of people just want to get angry about certain things and be like, hey, we're going to glorify this shit all the time. And one thing I can say about it right here, right now on YouTube, I've noticed this a lot. And it's sad, man. Like that's the only channel I look at is for reference. But there's a lot of other bullshit topics I see that be doing the same thing. I mean, yeah, but you know, we got the slug, of course, Bomb Cherry. She's sewing right now, but you know, I was sky watching her before I did. You know, I was looking at Macron winning the election over in France. I'm really excited. That Le Pen woman is crazy. I'll tell you a secret about her. They had a stat sheet about nuclear reactors before he won the election. His stat sheet was good, but he had 6 nuclear reactors, right? Let me tell you about this other bitch. She wanted 20. I don't know who's crazy to vote for that. 6 to 20 nuclear reactors each. The man wants 6, the bitch wants 20. Now, what the fuck is that? And she's right wing, by the way. She's pro Putin. Typical, right? But this dude wants 6. Make that make sense. I mean, I'm just, hey, if I was in France, if I was a French person born and raised in France, I would vote for Macron too. God damn it. Hell, he's a better fit. They ain't got no other choices. When I watched that whole election in France, they ain't got no fucking choices. But that just shows you, that's a small example of a little bit of the topic. He ain't no better either, but he's a necessary evil for that country because France is weird like that. France is very particular and peculiar with their leadership. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm not gonna get into that. This ain't a political discussion. We talk about nigga shit right now. We talking about the nigga shit in echo chambers, trying to be like the white echo chambers I see on YouTube, and it's really fucking sad. And I'm so tired of it, man. Like I'm really so tired of it, man. Like niggas want to be on some bullshit, want to cry a lot, and want to spew rhetoric. And I see this a lot. I mean, niggas want to cry and be like, "Man, I don't know what to do here. I can't get no woman. I can't do nothing. She don't love me no more. She don't love me no more." I'm like, man, these niggas. And I heard that shit for 2 years before I even upgraded my shit, and especially come back doing YouTube. And I'm glad I did a year of this type of content, like live streaming. See, vlog streaming is fine. I'm not gonna lie. I like streaming outside, and I need a mic piece or whatever, but it's okay. I'm a work in progress. I don't have to be fancy. I guess I'm basic. I'm simple. I'm learning to adapt and just be happy. I don't care. I keep my content what it is, man. Like if I want to add music, that's a choice. I got to make my own music. I'm learning as I go. But damn, I wish I had that mixer that Mike Delgado had. I'm gonna try to invest in that. Once I get that shit, I'm good, bro. I'm done with the bullshit. I already know what pieces I need. What's going to happen? I already got what I've planned for this year. Next year, I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna keep the same shit, just accessories this time. But yeah, what she say about Kay? She said Kay and Kayla annoy me. Yeah. A lot of people know they annoy about him. Kay's hilarious. Kay be making them eyes, talking that shit. Anton be getting on the skin. But Q checked both of them, really. Y'all need to watch that Thursday stream. Q tried to say, hey. He made a joke. She said something to the young girl, Q. She said, he was making fun of, she's trying to say, what did Chaotic said? She was half white. And you know what she said? She said, I'm not half white. 3 different races. And Kayla now Kayla is super annoying. I agree with Nadia on that. Yeah, she's very super annoying. The darker one. She's a damn fool. But she don't like to be challenged. Oh Lord, she don't like to be challenged. I don't know who's with her or Kendra. I don't even fuck with neither one of them, but they don't like to be challenged. But that's no here or there. So, you know. But like I said, man, we see this a lot, and people bitch and complain since 2020. Thank God I learned about this in 2021, and people just want to be on some bullshit. That's what it is. So I see this a lot of times that most people want to be on here as much. And I'm not worried about anything else. And I just said, like, look, like this, like, yeah, there's 5 things talking about glorified echo chambers. And we talk about this a lot. And then the trauma bonding. We talked about the propaganda tactics that people use, false leadership, idol worship, and gatekeeping. So these things matter in certain times, certain things. So when you have people that talk like this stuff, it's very a loose topic what I'm talking about, but I see this a lot. Yeah, man. What she say? She said, kid said a man needs to pay 40,000 in clothes for a ring. Yeah, that's some crazy shit like that. Yeah, she's wild. You know, that woman is ridiculous, man. Like she stayed getting weaved up. I don't know what her problem is. I mean, she's a decent looking woman, but her problem is the attitude. That mouth is something else. She be talking way hella cash shit. You know, say, what's going on, she salute. And she'd be like, and it's funny though. She killed me trying to be arrogant with her mouth. She trying to say this to old girl Q, right? And she's trying to say, what are the 3 ways? I just want to know. I'm like, bitch, like she told you it's not relevant. It was on last Thursday. I'm like, what the fuck? And Chaotic just went off on KA and Kayla. He said, I ain't talking to these bitches. And it's funny. But JR, I don't see how JR do it. What's his name? JR Lapeep. I don't see how he do that shit. He love the views, boy. I tell you, that nigga love views, love tension. He love the bullshit. But shouts out to New for an 8-hour live stream. I didn't mean to see it. But new man, you had a good topic, but I know you was streaming that. I was like, damn, he did it for 8 hours. Like, damn, new. I might have to watch the replay, man. I don't know. But shouts out to new. Y'all subscribe to him, man. But as I said again and again, a lot of people just love gatekeepers. That's number one of glorified echo chambers. Idol worship, we already know the same old niggas doing the same old shit. Yeah, I'll do it for 45 minutes and I'll drop it later. But false leadership. The third thing, I should have said something else, but false leadership. A lot of people just want leaders. Like y'all call them what? YouTube daddies? Well, they're your idol worship. And you look for them for leadership, which is stupid. I don't get why y'all people looking for them for leadership. What I mean by leadership, you're looking for something that ain't there. I don't even follow these dudes like that. I don't even fuck with them like that. I had an issue with a certain hoe ass nigga that blocked me from the chat by association, but shouts out to Gino and everybody else. We already know what it is. These same niggas, man. Y'all listen to these bitch ass niggas, but hey, teach his own. And I just like, look, and that's just not just them, but it's a lot of niggas like that. I see why, and I get why Taz saying was saying he's blocking every chat. Well, yeah, you be trolling them to death. And you check certain niggas, but you got checked a long time ago by a certain individual, but we ain't gonna go there. Cause that nigga ain't shit either. Try to act like he honest. No, nigga, you a liar just like these niggas, man. That's why I don't fuck with half of these dudes, man. I'm very, very careful who I align myself with nowadays, especially on YouTube. I don't take this shit seriously, bro. Like these dudes ain't shit. And I know people's going on right now. And I think the brain trust is on too. So everybody's on the day Sunday. They normally don't usually stream on Sundays. They don't. I always stream on Sundays. Because that's the ones I always do. Because I always catch it in time. So, but yeah, man, it's been some wonderful news and people going in, doing anything. And that's just it. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. But that's the shit that I'm talking about, bro. Like, I understand that a lot of people is just gonna deal with it. But I just don't mess with these channels like that. Yeah, man. But but what I could say in so many words, if you look at it's an hour, Zen, before I even hit it. So yeah. Appreciate the legendary wacky world with the share. And it's just like when you look at these echo chambers that people have made of, it's really sad, man. A lot of people love their leaders, man. And they act like they show leadership. So one thing I could say about the glorified echo chambers, I'm just saying it's not what it is. And that's just what it is. So what I'm tired of is like I see this a lot. When I was actually doing, I think very well last year, and I've noticed something. A lot of people just want to be on this like echo chamber shit. Like me, I try not to be one. I answer people's questions in chat. I do this a lot, and sometimes I do panels. Sometimes, and it gets draining. Because last time I did something long like that, it was like probably, probably about 10 hours, 12 hours the most. And on this type of style, like I would say Sunday, I did 12 hours on this one. The other one, I did a lot. And I was looking at my playlist. I was like, last year was fun, but this year was kind of dry. It's a dry year because I already know the spring is bad. And I'm glad I'm doing it consistently on April because last year, April, it wasn't nearly as this. No, it was light work. It takes skill. But, it's just what it is, man. Like you get to the point, you look at the stuff and the five things I listed: habitual trauma bonding. You see it a lot, and people complain about their little divorce thing. Like to me, I never dealt with that. I don't hate on people on that because most people they be on some bullshit when they the ones at fault and they trust in the females all day. I don't complain about them all day. Like I'm one of those dudes. Like, look, if you have a problem with them, don't deal with them. If you made that decision, that's your fault. Like the kids got to come first. Talking about them is cool, but it's irrelevant, man. They gonna be who they are. I stopped talking about that shit years ago. I used to talk about that in past. I never did that on YouTube. No, that's not realistic. If you actually study them, you know that it ain't. It's really the opposite. So again, and then they use this tactic calling it red pill. Technically, no, it's not. That's some, and only to me fair with you, that's some blue pill shit. I don't care about that matrix shit. Like if you live the matrix properly, you already know red pill means a lot of things. You have to learn to survive for your damn self, and then the women just coming through. And then you got these niggas think they're black pill. No, they're not. They're just fucking typical ass females, man. And then you got women that's really women. They don't really care for that shit. Quiet as it's kept. And I've been knowing that for years. See, they didn't care about this matrix pill shit. If you ask the average woman, they say, "What the fuck is that?" They'll look at you like this. I give you an example. When I used to work, if I talk about that shit years ago, I'll say it like this. Excuse me, man. What is red pill to me? If I said something stupid and if I said if I was red pill, black pill, she said, "What the fuck is that? You like pills, motherfucker?" Especially black women, they'd be like, "You like pills, my nigga?" And that's what they'll say. And it's some funny shit. It's some funny shit, and they'll look at you like you crazy, man. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that shit. And that's just basically what I'm saying. Like they really don't want to hear that shit. And I don't even talk bad about them. That's the fucked up thing about. I don't even talk bad about them. It's just like they're gonna be who they are, bro. It's just like you can't argue with them on panels all day. That's why Lapeef is a great example. If you see a lot of women on panels, just don't fall for the consent trap. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the consent trap. That's why I stopped trying to broadcast certain things like that. And then I told this to L Nixon, I don't give a fuck about that shit, bro. I told him one time, like, if I see her saying some dumb shit on the panel, like, you think I give a fuck? Fuck them. Like, if y'all like 304s, that's y'all's business. Like, I don't give a fuck about these hoes like that. They everywhere. And shouts out to Ramil saying that, yeah, they winning short term. But him going in on oh boy exclusives, we know he's a fuck nigga. He's talking about himself. But again, niggas gonna love who they gonna love, and I'm not mad. But see, when you deal with idol worship, you deal with a lot of things. So some people are gonna be who they are, bro. That's all it is, though. So basically, I'm saying is what it is. So, like I said, when you talk about gatekeeping, you got a lot of gatekeepers on here, and a lot of people want to gatekeep trying to see who's gonna grow and not. That shit gets draining, bro. It gets draining. So I see this a lot, and then you'd be like, all right, this is what we're gonna have to deal with. So again, yeah. And then you got the idol worship, of course, and then you got your false leadership. Yeah. So that's all I got on those three and then five. So basically that's it. But yeah, the echo chambers, that's the topic. And then you got gatekeeping. You said all on YouTube, and then you got their idol worship, you got your false leadership. People believe they're leaders in the world. And then you got propaganda tactics, and you got habitual trauma bonding. So yeah. All right. Back at it again. But that's the one thing I know about these topics. But this is gonna be like a continuation, like I'm gonna do. So next coming up Sunday, not the next Sunday, but the 2 weeks Sunday from now, because on the 8th, I'm gonna touch on the same thing. And I think I'm gonna call the topic "What Makes an Echo Chamber," and that's gonna be a topic that I'm gonna do, and it's gonna explain what I said today's stream, and just expound on the one key things I mentioned about gatekeeping, idol worship, false leadership, propaganda tactics, and habitual trauma bonding. So those are the 5 things I want to cover. I could have covered more and just gone in, but the gatekeeping is kind of like the biggest thing. So I think a lot of times when people talk about gatekeeping, you got dudes that proclaim they're the leaders of certain spaces and things, which they ain't shit. I don't look for them for leadership. They're a fucking joke. That goes for all them niggas in 2.0 and 3.0 because they all the same, bro. Like I don't listen to dumb shit. I really don't, because I'm tired to the point they act like they talk about solutions. They ain't really about solutions. They on some bullshit. That's why I say fuck everybody else. That's my motto, and I've always been that way since ever started on this YouTube shit, and then probably in life as well. So I pay attention to everything what people say. And when you meet them in person, they ain't really about much. That's why I don't go in on people as much. I learned to stay away from shit like that. I can be confrontational a little bit, but I'm not always that confrontational. Like over time, I developed that. I wasn't always like this. It took years to get to this level. And it's not fun because one thing you do on content, I can talk about various things. And I realized if I had another channel talk about the actual tech shit, that'd be super easy. And then you show yourself and then you'd be good. Most people do not like the fact that they don't want to deal with the pressures that's going on. So when I watch certain content and things like that, I know people looking about the election and things like that overseas and things like that. And then the election is going to be, I would say, probably the next couple of years for us, and it's not going to be even better. So yeah, when you talk about glorified echo chambers, you do what you do. You do what you do. You don't complain about certain shit. So I don't really care about the next person coming in. So yeah, man, like, and shouts out to Ramil going in, and this old boy, he ain't no different, Like, yeah, y'all can say Ramil's bad all this and that, and that's cool, and I ain't got no problems with Ramil. Ramil's gonna be who he is. I use him for a certain purpose. Do we agree on everything? Hell no. Some things we do, some things we don't. I'm fair. I'm in the neutral. I stay out of that shit. He handled it. The exclusive, the so-called goat ain't shit. We know what he's on. He's like, I killed him. No, you didn't, nigga. You got body by these niggas. Stop it, nigga. You're the one dumb, nigga. And nobody fucks with you like that. It's no hate. It's just what it is. And try to say we lying, nigga. You're a liar. We know your wife ain't shit. You just a bitch ass nigga showed your hand. You can't do this on the internet and expect people gonna talk about you. That's why I mean by echo chamber. Niggas need to stop trying to front like they know everything, but they don't. See, I do my research on certain people. What I do is I don't get mad at these individuals. I'm just tired of their bullshit. Like, if you try to support somebody, then they want to come at you sideways. There you are. It's a lot of these niggas I can't stand. It's like I don't even tell you the gist of what I think about niggas in general on the internet, man. I lost respect for a lot of motherfuckers, man. And I let that shit go. Like, I hold that shit in, but what I do is I release it by small rants, roasting them and lobotomizing their ass. I don't give a shit what they think. They're the type of niggas I don't even want around me in person. That's how bad it is, man. Like, it's a select few, but the majority of them, they just ain't shit, bro. Like, I get why people don't like certain people. I respect that. I don't care. I don't fall for that shit. If I don't fuck with, if you fuck with them, that's cool. I'm just not gonna fuck with them. I just let y'all have that. And it's nothing personal. It's just what it is. Some people say it's just business. It's nothing personal. I really don't care about half of what other people say on this shit. Now, people in the chat room, I support what y'all saying. That's cool. Y'all support me. I appreciate it. And it's no hate over here. It's just I'm tired of the bullshit of what y'all be hearing, like these other dudes. Just be careful who you listen to, man. I told this to Pastor. Be careful with Taz, because Taz will demands loyalty a little bit, and then his bitch ass, when you do, if you try to correct his ass, then he want to argue with you, like a little hoe that he is. It's a lot of hoes on here, man. I'll say men and women, so-called men and women. I call them male and female. It's just they disgust me, bro. They disgust me. It's like you can't even say nothing no more, and they act like bitches. Then they want to flag you and shit. Fuck out of here. I lost the respect of a lot of people, bro. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about that. Niggas need to stop with the bullshit, bro. Let's cut that shit out. Let's cut that shit out. And I like to say this. Sometimes you look at things from that perspective, and it gets like that all the time. So you realize what you have. I appreciate what I have. I mean, all the stuff I got, I mean, I'm happy. I'm still here living another day, and everybody's gonna relax. And I know, I don't even talk about Sin G. She's so irrelevant. Like, you niggas love that bitch as an idol. I'm gonna use that again. That's a form of idol worship, what y'all doing. She's my God. I don't know what to do without her. Go sit down, nigga. Just crying like bitches, bro. Like, y'all showed y'all hands every damn time. And it's nothing foul what I'm saying, but these niggas is just lame, bro. Just lame as fuck. And I'm just like, look, if you're gonna talk the shit, just do it, man. Do it already. I'm not really mad anymore. It's just like these niggas is just weak, bro. And I'm glad you got Cookie Monster and everybody else cooking these niggas, because they stupid, bro. Like, it's the same shit. They won't be hoes all day. And this is why I don't really get into the manosphere bullshit topics, because it's retarded, bro. If you think you lost respect for a lot of rules on the internet, just imagine how many niggas that I lost respect for. Like, respect for. Exactly. Yeah, I have. And it's not just the internet, it's in person too. Because most of the times it's sad. In person, it's in my family. I've seen, even when I was in high school, even if I haven't seen them in years, in the same way. And if I found they doing bad shit when they're around my age, it's sad, man. Even the ones I work with, I lost respect. It's sad, man. But see, the internet tries to put you in this box called the glorified echo chamber, the biggest echo chambers you are. You got so many. It's like a religion. Man, we got to talk about that on Mother's Day edition. We can't talk about it. Yeah, because that's the next Sunday, not this summer coming up in May, but the next Sunday. So, not May 1st. No, we ain't gonna talk about that. Is that May 1st? Yeah, I'm gonna be off on that week. I'll come back on Mother's Day and start cooking you niggas. We're gonna say, Mama! These niggas. Cause y'all love mama so much. Cause y'all cry too damn much. Yeah, and then Cinco Miles that week. Yeah, I'll have a whole week off too. Yeah, I'll come back on the 8th and get my mind rested. Because April, yeah, I'm going all in this week. And I'll see y'all niggas on Mother's Day. I ain't gonna drop no content for that whole week, and I'm gonna be good. And I'm gonna be fine too. I ain't gonna participate on no panels. If you ask, I'll also be in the chat saluting y'all, Skywatch, whatever, I'm gonna do my thing, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's right. What's going on?
Oh shit, I'm on. Hey, what's up?
Good, good.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, yeah, cool. Um, yeah, I forgot how we met and interacted because it's been a while. But
Oh, that's been like months ago. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I know.
been months ago.
Yeah, I'm just hearing about your video and about basically like basically the gist of your vid so far that I've seen is you ain't getting these ninjas that you see in this generation. You don't get them. You ain't rocking with them. You don't understand them. right?
Right.
Okay, neither am I. Like, I don't get it. I don't get these new Gen Z niggas either. Or you know what I'm saying? I don't get them at all. Like I've been trying to figure them out. I, uh, and I believe a part of it does have to do with the internet because I mean, due to the fact that a lot of people just have a lot of. I feel like because this generation it gives out the internet gives a platform for everybody. Anybody can have a platform. Like it causes them to it doesn't force them to have that self reflection, right?
Right.
Like back in my times when growing up, I hate to admit this, but like growing up, there was always like the popular kids or something like this, right? Or
Hmm.
and the popular kids were like this, right? Like they like let's look. Let me give an example. They like sports. They would like work out. They thought this was weird. They thought that wasn't weird. And everyone was trying to be like those popular kids,
Right.
right? But now we're in a different generation where it feels like all that shit's eliminated.
Oh
So
yeah. Hmm.
so because of that, now everybody's just free to be what they want to be, which in some cases can be a good thing. But unfortunately, like you say, the internet turned it into a bad thing.
Yeah. It's like back in the day, like, yeah, you talk about the sports, and we see this in different sports. And I know sports is so finesse now. Back in the day, yeah, you got to learn to take contact. And I said this in past on several panels last year and this year. And I said, a lot of sports, yeah, you can die in those sports if you ain't trained right. Like professionally, it's different, because they do take drugs. Some do, some don't. But it's
Mhm.
certain diets and moves. But I see a lot of these ads talking about there's a perfect diet and the soap thing with the shower thing. I don't buy in that. They probably got some chemicals in that shit, with the squash. And I was looking at that. I say, man, how can y'all sure that thing could be safe? It's the shit that I'm talking about. And then you got people that got away from religion, but they create another one. But it's like an echo chamber. They have these talking points that are so paramounted. And then I've noticed, same with the tech community, when they talk about audio stuff and gear and stuff, they're divided. Now, you do have somebody that are critics. I give them credit. And they said this will last you forever. I look for longevity stuff, but when you have guys that are younger, probably my sister's age or whatever. Now, my dad's age, they so far gone, they dying left and right. I just found out two guys that used to play hockey, Hall of Famers, passed away. One was 65. He used to coach or used to play for the Islanders. He passed away. And this is
Mm.
French guy named LaFleur. He's popular, won 5 Stanley Cups. He passed away and died at 70. So, and my dad was saying, we was talking, he said, all the baby boomers is damn near getting old and dying. Yeah, it's usually the way it is. They don't really live that long. And it's kind of like our generation a little bit because it be our age groups that's dying. I'll say I'm in my early to mid 30s and I'm seeing this. Sometimes it's diet, nutrition, like you said, and then a lot of times these kids eat unhealthy way more than I ever had. And not only that, they don't care. They're very, I would say they a little bit selfless and selfish at the same time, but they just don't care. That's why I talk about the anarchism thing. And I felt like that's the future they're going with. Because what I see over there in Russia, that's a small thing. That's like a powder keg of more leadership's about to be toppled like that. And I'd say me and my dad was discussing this about what Ukraine's gonna be if they ever win this. It's gonna be like Afghanistan. They treat Putin like Gaddafi again. It's a repeat.
Right.
And if you got oligarchs treating you like shit, and this is why I'm talking about echo chambers, people have it like he's winning. No, he's not. You're just playing the game of a political game that's going to be in 22, 24, and they got you. That's how Trump got in there. And he realized you can't have an echo chamber like that. You got to be part of their echo chamber. So that's where you get all the false leadership, idol worship you see on YouTube. And it's sad. Like anytime you join a community, you got to play their game. It's just what it is. And especially with the trauma bonding on each side, like, yeah, men and women, but those relationship topics, that's a hustle. I tell people all the time, stay away from them topics. That's how they me too you. That's how they get you. If you say the wrong thing, you're done. It's just I learned this in the workplace and I learned this 10 years ago. That's a topic I never dealt with, and I stay out of it because I know how people are gonna be biased. If I say the wrong thing, there you are. It's just
Oh,
what it is, man.
yeah, I would say that too. I mean, I would say either to say what you said a little bit earlier, where you're like either whatever echo chamber that you become a part of, you got to play the game. It's either you become a part of an echo chamber or you create your own echo chamber. It's one of the two. And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't. the will and mentality to create their own echo chamber. Even though, in my opinion, I feel like anybody has the mental capacity to create their own echo chamber. I mean, I put it this way: there's a lot of YouTubers out there with a lot of subs and a great big cult of personality following, and in my opinion, they suck. Like they don't make any sense. I don't get how they have this cult of personality. Like some of the shit that they be saying is just factually incorrect and obviously incorrect to the point where I don't need to Google, But like they, for some reason, have a cult of personality following. I mean, part of it has to do with like, well, I mean, I don't know how it's. I mean, I know a little bit of a reason why, because I mean, example with the manosphere guys. I mean, they're just committed to catharsis. Like there's no self improvement, there's no self reflection. You're just looking for other dudes that just have entitled resentment towards women because
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
because because of the fact that they really can't get women and shit. But yeah,
Yeah, that's the main problem I had with the modern day. And I just call my thing manspread. That goes for both sides. And what I've noticed, and this is in any community, like I mentioned the audio tech community, like the people that you know that's popular. Like, yeah, I watch, what's his name? There's a guy named Booth Junkies. I can't call him an echo chamber. He's actually helping people and they actually give him stuff and stuff, Bandrew. But you got another group of the bigger YouTubers that's part of that as well. They used to be part of the gaming community. They separated. So what I've noticed, there's a pattern in the comment section, in the chat room. They're divided on shit. A certain microphone that's popular, I tell people, yeah, they did that on purpose, like they did with the Yeti, the Shure mics, and all that. And when I did my history on the stuff, technical stuff and the actual stuff we all talk about, everybody's got their own chamber in that. And I'm like, okay, if you don't believe in this, you if you get a better microphone's better than that. And the ones I've noticed that they don't show the most love, they don't speak on it no more. I try to search everywhere on every review, and they said it's okay. And I'm like, what? And they kind of like that line. They like the mic, but they won't admit it. It's just like you caught them in their lives and shit. And it's a sad, but the same with the manosphere. Like anything that's you can fix a relationship, they don't have no solutions. And what I've noticed about these newer guys and the modern guys I've seen from, I'll say like 2012 when they try to come in, but they actually didn't get their foothold in 2015. They're not saying anything different. It's a repeat of the first one. They
I'm
already
hearing what you're
accomplished
saying.
that. But it's sad that the fact that remains that they have not really changed anything. So yeah, the women they gonna complain all day long. But one thing I can say about it, man, like these women, they correct on one thing. Like you do have a lot of bullshit going on. So it's certain content creators mentioned this before, but I've seen this like 2 years ago. Like they have no solutions like that. So when you get on panels, when you talk about the actual solution to relationships, most women don't really care. Like even in person, they let you know in a heartbeat. So yeah, that's why they become mindless topics. And then you want to have this echo chamber trying to say they believe in you and then they donate. And the next thing you know, when the fallout comes, there you are. So, like, no, you goad them into that. So yeah, that's why I did this talk. And I slept on it. I said, wait a minute. You got a lot of gatekeepers in every genre of YouTube. It used to be in groups they did back in the day. And now it's more like I want to be the idol worshiper. Then I got to have my habitual trauma bonding and my propaganda tactics to get you to buy my product. And I'll give you a fake leadership, false leadership. And they think they're leaders. And that's the problem. That's why a lot of these young kids think, oh, they're the shit. And you hear them all the time. And now, if you heard them in person say that, that's really a problem. That's scary because next thing you know, I control that man's life. But technically, you can not watch them, which they won't, because young people, when I was their ages, I had to be careful who I would listen to. I listened for a while. And if that shit didn't stick and I went out there and did it, I said, damn, they're wrong. I noticed that when I got back in the workplace again and in my 20s, and I figured out it's actually the opposite what they're saying. It's not really true. Not women are bad. It's certain women that are bad that's trying to hold you down, and certain men too. So if you're really red pilled, you're supposed to adapt to certain changes and not complain about the small problem. It's a bigger thing that you're looking at. Now they're actually more blue pilled in the way they act on the internet. It's designed to fuck you up. So the internet's done that for years. So it's nothing
Yeah,
changed.
there's so much to unpack there. I want to say, like, here's a way you can spot the phony alpha male dating podcast, if we want to call it that. Like, number
Right, right,
one,
right.
my from what I've seen is this: if their advice consists on telling the opposition what to do, and just like I'm crucifying the incels, I'll crucify the femcells too, because it's,
Yeah.
if their dating advice consists of telling other in this scenario, if the men are telling other men, if the men telling other women what to do as far as how to conduct themselves and blah 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 blah, that's not dating advice. That is just orders for women to follow when they want to date them. That's what that is. It's like, because in order for them to like give out advice, like from my seeing an interesting pattern, like they just absolutely refuse to hear their side out. Like they literally I don't think like they ever had like a conversation where they sat down and said, "Hey, what are your interests? What do you like to do? What are your turned on and shit like this?" Like I feel like those guys are the origin of those guys that are created are simply this. They went on Instagram. They saw a sexy Instagram chick with like 1 million followers, and with 1 million followers, she probably gets like a billion comments every day saying how sexy and hot she is. And because they were a low subscriber for like 2 weeks and fell in love with her for 2 days, they sent like a heartfelt DM to her saying, "I love you, my sexy little princess," with her sexy ass and titties or some shit like this. And
Mhm.
because she has a big millions of followers with 1 billion comments, which means she probably gets like 1 trillion DMs and filled with like scammers, catfishes, and other guys that probably sent like some other heartfelt DMs too. Basically, that DM got lost in like a sea of dicks, and because she never responded to him, and never since then they view all women as deceivers and all that stuff. Even though it's like, even though it's like, for one, maybe they probably did have like the best game ever, but the problem is you're looking in the you're looking for love in the wrong places. Like, don't go to OnlyFans or Instagram for love. Like, yeah, best you can go there
Yeah,
to
yeah.
bust a nut, but like, don't look at the chick that works at Wendy's. No offense to Wendy's workers, but don't look at the chick that works at Wendy's as like, oh man, she wants a basketball player and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I feel that
Yeah,
advice is.
it's very weird. But most of them women, they just want a regular guy. Quiet skip. Most of those fast food workers, mall workers, any work, especially here, it's not. They don't want the glitz and the glamour. Most of those guys are assholes. Same with the women, like that has the glitz and glamour. Like a lot of dudes don't even want that. The problem is, it's that self gratification. Like I said, that's a form of idol worship, and that's the brainwashing I was saying. Like when I was coming up, I didn't fall for that shit. I knew the difference was when I got older as a teenager. And those dudes are not even that happy. Even their own people tell on them. Like when I was listening to stuff and I got trenched in the knowledge about the other stuff, like the people I used to listen to, it's very telling. Now I told my cousin, you got to be careful with certain people, certain organization. I told him this one time. He argued me down on that shit, and I turned that shit down because it's chances are you ain't gonna come back because that's a lifetime commitment. And he got mad at me about that. And this is when he was like in the church at the time, and I cut that church shit off probably in '09. So, and I told my pops, I said, my sister's generation, 95% of them are Gnostic or atheists at this point, or agnostic. Agnostic, they're not sure, but Gnostic, they deal with the knowledge. But some of them do believe in God. Then you got the other half, the majority that don't. And I've talked to ones when I was in the workplace, they said, I don't believe in that shit. I said, really? I said, wow. And they were young then, but now it's gotten a trend. I get it now. I get where they're coming from because all the brainwashing and stuff. Then you got people that believe in the wrong people, like you said, like that create these big ass echo chambers and have these right wing talking points. A lot of people try to say it's not bad. It's actually bad enough. Both sides ain't perfect. Left wing, I don't take it seriously. They just, what they remind me of? It's almost like the Green Party, the trio and stuff. They so one trick pony, one dimensional. That's the left wing to me in general. See, when they say Democrats left, that's not true. Majority of them are more right wing as you think. If you really study them properly, and Republicans is way liberal, and like I tell you, they show they overt racist hand liberally on that side versus Democrats. See, Democrats they already know they're conservative and racist to a fault. The best way to expose them is not just money, but the military shit, and they'll stop immediately and look stupid. That's how you get them. That's how you get Biden and everybody else. But when you deal with guys like Trump, he wasn't even a real true Democrat. He was just a real liberal ass Republican that had money and had wealth. He just took the easy way out. And then when niggas get brainwashed, no, nigga, you just show your hand with the racists. You don't have to be a clan. It's just how it is. Like other cultures notice stuff. But see, I got away from the right and left argument because I realized they all lean towards the right in the end of the day. See, when you focus on the military aspect of the money aspect, how they control economics is just a number. It goes up and down. You 1 minute you're winning, you're losing. Because my dad's an auditor. He said it's just it fluctuates. They print more money and they just don't care. They don't care about no damn crypto and all that stuff. People lose their money to that shit. You got to have some physical cash to survive. And that's the best way that I can tell people, like, look, and this is why you got to stop following people that promote these echo change trying to say the dollar's falling. I did a dollar conspiracy and I did a stream on it. I've been hearing that for some years and years. I said, I've yet to see it fall, man. But the only way it's going to fall is within. So most people are going to fall with it in the trust. And you can't trust most countries. They're so hypocritical, man. And that's why you got to look at dudes to side with. Now, the manosphere, that's just, they're trying to get on. You know what's going to happen to that? It's going to fizzle out. You know, Kevin did his thing. People want to idol worship his ass to death. He ain't going to last long. I told Sakuda, I said, dude, that dude is not going to last. And the niggas y'all following ain't going to last either. Ain't nobody going to listen to that shit. I just can't wait till the day, the next few years, that shit's going to disappear. And people are going to talk about real things and practical things. And that's it. Because I ain't going to do these long term. I'm just doing this just for content reasons. Just put it out here and then this shit grow. Because I did this before. This is
honestly,
nothing new.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like it would never return back to the way it used to be, like pre-Twitter. I have a feeling it just won't. And now, what does that mean for the future? I have no idea what it means. It could be,
the future varies.
It could go really, really bad or really, really good. That's the only way it could be. It cannot be in a medium. Like
no. You have to have the future. To me, it varies. Now, if it's bad, it's gonna be like this. But if it's good, you just gotta learn to adapt. And the one thing I've noticed, if you lean towards the tech route, which is good, and if you're tech literate and you trying to help people and actually do stuff, yeah, that's the future. Because what I've noticed, I said, okay, let me look at this. This is gonna help people actually be practical. That's what I mean, because that's the future that you need to look at. See, what they're talking about is not future. That right there is gonna be bad and you're gonna be gone. You don't want that. So that's why a lot of people's jump ship and leaving that shit where they got to go. They ain't got nowhere because they're already going at the free speech Avenger. You're done, and they got triggered about that. And I said, well, that's done. Now you got to think for yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Thinking, maybe scholars need to learn how to roast people. They need to, they used to be like let's say an engineer wants to go to school on how to be an engineer. I don't know what the hell the class they have to take, but they also have to take a side class such as how to roast people because you're just gonna have to, because really it's because I don't know the way I see it. Like the one thing that pissed me off about Obama, it's like Obama versus Trump thing. That this whole time, it's like going back, like the one, and it's also one of the things that just pisses me off about the Democrats is they're still trying to maintain decorum or be proper, and it's like people don't want to hear that shit right now. People don't give a fuck about decorum. Obviously, Republicans don't. So, basically, Trump's laying out his true self. I want Obama to allow his true self, be like, hey man, what the fuck you talking shit about me for shit like this, right? I mean, I get it. He's smart. He's proven that, but damn. Like this dude's talking shit about you, your family, and your wife, and saying you ain't born here, all this other stuff, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but and he's winning, unfortunately, and you're just like, well, I got to maintain decorum, and I have to be. It was like, no, fuck that shit, I mean, you prove 8 years that you're Mr. Decorum, all right? So your 8 years is done, and plus that you're about to leave, so shit. Like Fox News is already gonna make you look like you're ratchet anyways, as if they haven't done that already. But so shit, you might as well just let out who you are and go hard with the policies that they are implementing. Because I mean, though they do propose some good things, but it's just like they don't have the political power to do it along with the propaganda, and they need a majority as well too. And that's more of a complicated issue, but I'm going off topic. But the point is, I feel like scholars should just learn how to they should just learn how to roast people. Otherwise, they're gonna get mauled the fuck over.
Oh yeah. But they're not really built like that. It actually helps people, but on the political aspect, this is very segue to. I was talking about the gatekeeping part, what Obama's doing, but Biden shows his hand based off his actions. Now, he told that one reporter, I saw this on France 24, and he told us, like, no, them sanctions is for a while until dude is out of there. So that information, that's going to be from Snowden. But what he's trying to do, it's like Obama legacy. It's the same old shit. And I know he's not going to run again because he know this is it. Because if it
Obama
goes
can't
back to, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Biden can't run again, period. Because I predicted he wasn't going to run again because there's no hope for that party, and especially the Republicans too. So you got four parties, but one of them's going to be obsolete. The Green Party, my issue with them is they're so one damn dimension. Me and my father agreed on this, and their problem is they have that tree hugging mindset, dude. What about the other parts of the environment? Not just the green stuff. What about the roads that people, the smog and all that shit? We talking about city like concrete. People dying like basic shit. Now I was watching PragerU's ads, and they're saying all that nuclear stuff is not dangerous. It's killing people. It's the stuff that's on the ground, like the roads, is killing people, and the fumes and all that. And they're correct. Causes cancer and all that. Like wow, and other stuff. So that's the problem I have with the Green Party. That's the issue. They need to run on real things, like you said, like the roasting part, all that. That's their damn problem. They're so one dimensional. They can't think outside the box. They don't have other ideas how to fix certain things. Yeah, the wind farm is good, but you need more than that. You need people to believe in. See, when I saw that election with Macron and Le Pen, what I saw right there, and I brought up the nuclear reactors. She wanted 20. This dude wanted 6. They had a stat sheet, and they showed this on France 24. He had everything they wanted, and the people trusted 6 reactors. They did not trust no damn 20. And I saw that, and I knew she wasn't going to win that because based off the percentage of the numbers, he had like 58% voting the second go around they was going to run. And then she had like 41%. She was pissed. But hell, you couldn't get pissed. The people want they want. They didn't trust you. And you was pro Putin the whole time. So that right there, she lost twice to him. So she thought she was gonna quit. It's weird. That's why I don't worry about 2024, because I know what America wants now. If they want like a Rand Paul, that's fine. That's it. Republicans ain't really got nobody but them two and Pence. Because that's basically what you're gonna get. Like you said, it's the same thing. They'd rather deal with that versus a woman on the Democrat side, because Democrats, they're gonna have to learn from this election from France. Le Pen had 20 reactors. That's ridiculous. This dude had 6. So that shows you right there. People say, we don't want this bitch. She's trying to blow up some shit. No, cut it down to 6. This is what it is, When I saw that shit on that stat sheet, that lets me know how the election went. I said, I knew he was going to win. I knew he was going to win. Yeah, it's no brainer.
Yeah, I fear Republicans are gonna win because I mean half the promises, because due to the fact that it feels like Democrats are still just playing politics. Their game of politics right now is like, yeah, at least saying to the minorities, like, which is basically, yeah, you're gonna vote for us anyway. We're gonna do vote for the Republicans who are acting racist, and they're just gonna cling on to that aspect and just give us lip service to anything that they feel that we want without actually asking us what we want. And at the same time, hey, at least we're not the opposition. That's going to basically be their whole campaign, and which is very dangerous, because what that would lead to at best is like they're just not going to participate in the election at all, and essentially because how diehard the right wing is proven to be, they're going to show up, and then bam, the Republicans are going to take the House and Senate for 2022, and thus essentially 2024 it's going to go to whatever Republican, because people are just going to lose all faith in Democrats, because at the same time Democrats, they just don't know how to wield power. Like it's like they got a razor edge advantage over Republicans on how to wield power, and they do not know how to brand worth a shit. But Republicans, they know how to brand, and they know how to wield power. Like as it stands right now, they're going against like I can't say it right. My lips are chapped.
Roe v. versus Wade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right now in Texas,
Yeah.
even though that's federal law, don't say gay bill, even though it's law around to accept homosexuality, at least as far as gay marriage or whatever. Like, but they're still like, no, fuck that shit. We're saying we don't like that, and they're putting that in the law, and they're spreading the propaganda to back that up, and with i.e. branding, and, but Yeah, it's all fucked up. It's pretty much we either get punched in the face or get kicked in the nuts when it comes to the election process, which is all fucked up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and that's part of number four I was talking about. You see it online, you see the propaganda tactics that use, and people co-sign it. And I don't care for neither part, but the Republicans, they do give you that option. Now, if you want to be rich, if you want to be a true liberal, you have to be a nationalist. You have to be a Republican. A lot of people try to say, what's a nationalist? It's basically a typical liberal. Now, you can be conservative in economics, yes, in an economic sense, because I did a piece on conservatism, and I was trying to explain to guys, conservative liberal means you're just conservative economically, but the military, you are liberal. You just want, I hate to say, you want peace. That's how liberals think anyway. And then 95% of the time you find out they're Republican. They're not really Democrats, because most Democrats, they're conservative militarily. Now they liberal in economics. Yes, that's how their mind works. But when I found out military, I said, why are they so goddamn conservative, bombing babies and shit? And I get it. Because that's a racism. People forget Democrats were the original conservatives, and they still are. They just use the liberal shit for economics to distract you. And when I found out, yes, they finesse people, but they'll use conservatism to protect their shit militarily, and they run away. And this is why the health industry and everything else is the way it is. People are so fucked up, and especially in elections. Like, if you want something, oh, Democrats will make you work for it. I felt this when this is around Trump was running for president, and under Obama, like, you know, when I got my first actual job, I felt the difference, because the Democrats, they tell you got to work for this shit, nigga. Now the Republicans, when he was in there, no, everybody was getting paid. I was a little bit. They said, "Fuck it, here you go, nigga. Just do something with it." And that's how the Republicans treat you. And I've noticed the difference. I said, "Wait a minute. They just hand you the money. They just tell you go out there and build something." Most people don't like that. I'm not a fan of that either, but I understand why. Because okay, so you telling me to build. So what's my coverage? You know, my insurance and, like, you know, all that stuff. But Democrats, no, you have to work for it. It's kind of like you don't want to beg them, but they put that pressure on you. And I've noticed that. And then they were right. And certain people told me in the workplace, yeah, Democrats will make you work. They, even the black people that was Democrat, they told me, they said, no, they make you work, nigga. Hell, you better work for that shit. See, Republicans don't do that. No, they want you to be independent already. Here you go. Here's the money. If you want to help your community, here you go. You know, they ain't worried about nothing else. Now, the other parties, now the Libertarians is different. They know better either. But the thing is, they do want small government. Yes. It's similar to both parties. The difference is they are pro, I hate to say Republican a little bit, because they have liberal tendencies. But, you know, they always try to mishandle the elections, but they're a better option than the Green Party. Most people like the Libertarians. Now, I'm not huge on everything they say either, but I get why people like them so much on the online. And then I told them, yeah, the Green Party is another good option too. But my issue with them is they're so one-dimensional. You cannot think about trees and shit. And I did my research on them. Like, you got to have more policies, man. You got to be strict on certain shit, because certain people just hard-headed, man. They ain't gonna listen to you half of the time. Because if you study both parties that are screwing everybody else over, one thing I can say about Republicans, they will give you money if you work for the shit, or if you want to build it for yourself. They don't pressure you doing it. That's what liberals don't do. That I expect them to do that. Now, if you want to call yourself democracy, the key word is democracy. That's a trap. They just want to control you. Mob rule, but they want control. I said, yeah, that's Democrats, conservatism bullshit. Here you go, 101. That's why I had to stop calling them liberal, because they didn't make no damn sense. No, because they don't give you money. They don't give you your own businesses to run. Because I've noticed everybody historically that makes money, Republicans give you that riches. And that's just the way it is. Democrats don't do that. No, they make you work for it. I see people get their tax right up, you know, go up. That's control. You know, they conserve their power. And this is why what you have the Mexicans of the race, like Ukrainians right now, getting meals right now. So yeah, that war is that's their ploy. I agree with that, because Republicans, well, I've noticed, you ain't gonna see that a lot of Ukrainians coming over here. They gonna try to get rid of you. They'll keep some, but they'll get rid of the ones that's bad and let them get destroyed overseas. Now, I've noticed that Republicans are kind of dirty, yeah, in that aspect. But I understand why they want to keep this nation to be American. I get it. You know, that's their mindset. But Democrats, on the other hand, they just don't give a fuck, but they just want to be assholes. That's just basically what it is. And I've learned that a lot from them. Yeah, they conservative. A lot of say, how can they be conservative? Think about the military. They'll kill everybody, but they'll take shit. They'll give it to the wrong people. That's why I don't understand. And that's just who they are. And just like you said about the black people and other races. It's the same concept. What it is, they trick you over here. Well, over there, they want to help somebody else, but they'll kill their shit. I'm gonna take your shit. Republicans don't do that. They try to rebuild that shit. But they
I
are
mean,
very similar though. They're very similar though. Go ahead.
now I just look at it like I don't know. You gotta look at what they're saying and that what policies that they implement as the
Yeah.
combination, like who they are as a person. You know, look them up,
It's
and
gonna do.
look what they advocate for, along with what policies are they proposing at the same time. And at the same time, people just gotta learn pretty much how the government works. Like whatever policy, let's say like AOC, like her whole Green New Deal thing, right? It cannot be in the policy unless it's a majority of approves of it. And since she doesn't have a majority of it, and this includes definitely Republicans and a lot of excuse me, a lot of Democrats, because and then that's what that policy is not going to pass. That policy is just going to sit at the table and collect dust. That's it. Like there's gun legislation, there's gun law legislation laws that are implemented from Democrats. There's gun law legislation. There's some police reform that has been proposed, but it just hasn't made it past. The reason why it hasn't made it into laws because it hasn't passed the House with the majority and the Senate, and the obviously making up to Biden, right? And the reason why the Democrats that are against that, in my opinion, it is corruption because well, for one, Republicans don't want to pass for it definitely because it goes against their whatever the opposition is proposing. It goes against what their donors want, and along with, and you can say the same thing for the Democrats. Not all of them, but most of them apparently. Like corruption with money in politics unites those Democrats to go against actual policies that I have seen, at least from the progressive side of Democrats. I mean, and if you don't believe me, it's like all the black conservatives. I mean, that feel like, hey, Democrats are lying to us, and they're not proposing anything, and blah blah blah. You got to ask yourself, okay, well, what are Republicans proposing? What are their policies
Right.
that they're proposing?
Right.
Like, what have they proposed? I mean, so far I've seen is they hate Cardi B's WAP or they hate Dr. Seuss. It's like I'm a 35. I don't give a fuck about Dr. Seuss or Cardi B's WAP unless if I'm penetrating it. But other than that, I mean,
right.
Unless Republicans are mandating that I fuck the shit out of Cardi B, then I'm against them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Other sideline culture war BS where what's another one, like M&Ms aren't sexy enough, and it's like I don't care about these things. Like it's easy to get distracted by that, but like at the same time, hell, my own kids don't even care about Dr. Seuss. It's 2022. They only care about his cell phones and Fortnite. That's it. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. I remember the last time I cared about Dr. Seuss. That's when I was a kid in the 90s. And I will say it like this. My mom gave me those books to read, even though she read books to me when I was real young. But when I got old enough to read them myself and got better, especially in 5th grade too, and I read all those books again, even comprehension was good. And then I practiced reading every day, each year, even when I was playing sports. Them days is gone. Now the kids, like we talking about today, yes, they love Fortnite. Not only Fortnite, PUBG, all those games I see on Xbox and PlayStation. Basically, technology did raise them. That younger generation and Z, this is why I don't get mad at them as much, because they don't know any better. The sad part about it, they're similar like us. I think Generation Alpha is very similar because the thing is, yeah, they can be violent in the future. They be the one protesting with the guns in the future. See, we had our day in the days of Occupy Wall Street. We had our day, just like our parents' generation, the boomers, they did their thing out on the street. It's very similar. The difference is Gen Z is more like Gen X's. They just the same, like their attitude, nonchalant behavior. I got some cousins that's on both sides of those generations. It's so funny. I laugh at them and I tell them, look, Gen Z is gonna be who they are, man. Like you can't really, the older ones and the young ones, because they'll let you know they don't give a shit. They have that same attitude. Yeah, they do hard drugs and shit, but you know what? It's a repeat of history. Alpha is going to be the opposite. They got to clean it up. Well, actually, we're going to help them clean it up because we're the ones give them the right direction. Just don't listen to the old boomers that's dying off, because the younger boomers is the ones misleading them. That's why I mentioned about the gatekeeping, the idol worship. That's what you got in these masters. It's younger boomers that was born somewhere around, I would say, like from the 55 to 64 range. And I can't stand that. And they the same assholes that want to tell people what a woman is, but everybody have their own experience. You can get experience when you get older. It don't really matter. It's just how you adapt to it. Because if a woman wants you, no matter what generation she's in, she's gonna pick a fucking guy regardless. She like the ones you got some that like gray hair, some that don't like gray hairs. And I've noticed that too, especially in here in GA. They'll even tell you, like, look, you just got to get out there. See, these dudes online, they're isolated. And same with this female, they're isolated. They don't have nobody to talk to. Nobody gives a fuck about them. It's just like high school all over again. And that's why I argue with people on panels about it. And I tell them, look, the solution's right there. Y'all just don't want to do it. Y'all just don't want to do it. Just like, same in politics. Yeah.
If their manosphere game it, because I feel like they all these alpha male podcasts, they have the same mentality. Like if you treat women like shit, or you be like, yo, I'm a hot value man, or I'm alpha male, blah blah blah. Like women will be oozing their machismo and want you all the time, and it's like, okay, well, there's a podcast. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't name drop them, but I don't know how you feel about name dropping podcasts. But like, okay, like I know one podcast have this mentality, and they have women in the flesh right in front of them, and they tell them all this personal information. So I'm like, okay, well, how come all these women here aren't like going, oh my god, I want to be with you, I want to jerk you off, suck you off, or whatever, right in front of them, or how come they don't bring their wives or their girlfriends on there to hear their perspective of things? Don't say, oh, well, they want to protect them from internet and all this stuff. And that's because my response to that would be, well, first off, you believe women are basically foot soldiers by day and fuck soldiers by night. So basically, you should, at your command, your order, whatever you ask for, guess what? And based upon the game that you telling other people to adapt to, guess what? It should be easy for your girlfriend or your wife or whatever to get her on the show and elaborate from her perspective on her relationship. But they never seem to do that. And the game never seems to work in real time. Instead, you got chicks on there looking like, oh my God, what the hell did I get myself into? I am so bored. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, that's another way you can look at it as far as like if they're
real I know what you're talking about. You talking about I think you talking about flims and flams. That's what I call them. But them niggas, man, like they show their hands several times, but that's not the way to treat women. But they use them. They probably pay for those women, and they've been coming out. I've been watching, what's his name, Duke the Don. He be airing they stuff out. But the funny is, he did the research on them, and he said, these dudes is brainwashing these dudes. And every time he says something about them, I say, yeah, these dudes. And I don't know why people watch them. I don't know why they watch them, and a lot of those women don't care.
I feel like a part of it is, well, two things are supposed about the women. The men, as it stands right now, will help men and women. I mean, yeah, you gain a lot of digging, a lot of views, and it's possible that it could be good clout, but a lot of it is basically they look at it like, or at least I look at it. Or at least how I look at it, it's like a bad car accident on the freeway. Like,
right.
You drive by and you see if there's a body there, and then after you drive right by it and you don't see no body, you just keep on pushing. And for content purposes to react to, as far as look at these niggas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them that part. And as far as the women go, because like the women that go on that show, I've heard that they do pay for women.
They do.
And and two, because there was this other channel, his name, well, I'll give him a shout out if I can, John Anthony, but he exposes some deeper shit about them. But like the other part of it, my theory is, and I'm gonna need the platform for this, right? Go with this narrative. Any person, any guy that complains about sex work or women in sex work, example, if you run into a guy that says porn is bad or OnlyFans is bad, guess what? They are the number one guys that are watching more porn than anyone.
That's facts. I agree with that, and I'm glad you said that. You said that.
So we're going with that. I'm glad we agree with that, right? So when those OnlyFans girls come on there, and mind you, they do advertise their OnlyFans page. They said that their OnlyFans account, their following increases. So all the guys that are insulting them through comments or even paying to insult women for their so that they can hear their comments, guarantee you, they are subscribing to those women. They may be like, "Oh, your forehead's big," or "Yeah, your pinky's way bigger than your other pinky." You ugly.
right.
Like that, right? Those motherfuckers are subscribing to them. That's why there's and word of mouth gets into play. So they're like, So that's why, for one, it doesn't even bother them at all, because they're like, yeah, you're gonna be sub to me and get
And
my clip pics and shit. So
and
yeah.
you know, and it's just like both sides of manosphere, I call mainstream. Those guys represent that, and the black manosphere, the ones that talk about, like you said, and I hear this a lot on Ramil's channel on panels. Not Ramil, but the panelists that he has on there complain. But you're watching our OnlyFans. If you have a conversation with him on different platforms, like this is a guy named Platinum, and he has them on there, and what he does, he exposes these niggas for telling on themselves. You subscribe to that stuff. Now he uses their pictures, no matter if they're big or small. But what he does, do you like this woman? These niggas start telling on themselves on panel, and I'll be listening. I'll be like, see, you are a subscriber to her. How you know she has an account on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, or whatever, TikTok, and like you said, OnlyFans, because it's all interconnected. You see those type of women on those platforms. You complain about sex work and YouTube. They're everywhere. That's why I don't get mad, because the reason I don't complain about it, I know it exists. Yes. Now, if you do see them in person by accident, they may not be top S tier, A tier, B tier, because 95% of the ones that do follow each other, you know, all women follow each other, they usually see the F tier. And if you do see the ones see F tier, those are the ones you're getting in real life. Now, the ones you don't get, like what dudes say, yeah, S and A tier, they're in different neighborhoods and different class. You'll see them, but you can't go around their little bodyguards or whatever, or certain people you got to know it's by association, by proximity, like they said. That's true, and sometimes it's false. Now, by accident, if you happen to show up in their areas, you are in a lost environment. And I tell dudes all the time, look, they do exist, but if you approach, they wouldn't know what to do with them. I tell dudes 95% of them don't know what to do with them, especially the S and the B tier type women you see online, because it ain't real. Because they got they stuff implanted and all that stuff. Now the C and the F tier, they still got the actual body, you know. And the sad part about it, the ones they be dissing, yeah, you follow them too. All of them follow those all tier women. But the ones in real life that you see, I hate to say it, it's the average and the F tier women, the ones they get. And he's right, because I see them all the time down here. Now, the S and A, B tier women you see, they drive expensive cars, like, yeah, your Ferraris, yeah, your Toyotas that are expensive, and the high quality cars. You see them in areas like in Buckhead, you may see them in Midtown and all that. They be in those areas. They don't be in areas, like, they're everywhere, but you don't see them enough. You know, I told this dude named Kuda, I said, dude, they exist for certain reasons, certain time of the day, right? They're rare, but the ones that are C, the F tier, that's normal to look like a S tier. You know what I mean? Because they're brainwashed, just like the dudes. They want to look good like these dudes as S tier as well, and it goes on both sides too. Because the dudes got to stop doing it, because that don't exist. Most dudes are usually B tier to F tier as well. See, the women's different, because it's different ranges of every tier of women. You know what woman you want, but it don't really matter, because most men don't really want to S to B tier women, period. Because if they have a lot of money than you, they're not gonna fuck with women like Jada and all them. No, they want somebody average. You know, to be honest, and most people do that. You know, if they want to get married like that. Now, if you want a whore or a slut, well, she's a hassle. But you already know what it is the difference is you got the street hoes, then you got your actual hoes that are corporate. They the worst. And I'll tell you why. I've seen them a lot on when I was in the workplace. At first, I didn't think she was a hoe. And someone told me she was when I was working with in the dealership, and they was telling me, no, that's a hoe. Just because she dresses nice and got a lot of money. No, she's a hoe. She don't even care about her husband or nobody. And I've seen them, they're married, some of them are not married. And that's common. It's like that on YouTube. That's why YouTube is an echo chamber of all those people. They don't tell you who they really are. That's why I listen to guys like Duke the Don. He say, man, you got to do research on people, because you don't know if that person's that person. You like, damn.
Right.
But that's why the manosphere exists in a lot of ways, not just because of relationship. It's just dudes what they get into. So I kind of blame their problem, why they create this type of modern day manosphere. I said, y'all the problem. It's not the women's problem. Y'all create these hoes and allow men years ago, and you made a whole platform based off that. And that's why people, it's so redundant. That's why people are tired of talking about it, because we see this all the time, especially if you see like the United States, like 13 colony states like GA and DC, like in Maryland and New York and all these places that's popular, right? In the West Coast too, in the US, you see all hoes everywhere, but it's worldwide too. So they coming all over the world. So you can't complain about women like that. They can come right to you.
Like, I don't
Why
know,
is
like
yeah.
Well, let's see. It's like if you want a woman for sex, you can't complain about getting a hoe because who better to
Yeah,
give you the best sex in the world than hoes? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It, well, this is a real complicated. This is a real complex conversation. I like it, but like, um, uh, like again, it goes back to all the critiques that are against women today. Like, I feel like that can only be applied to like at best the Instagram models who are like millions of viewers and subs and stuff like this, and they're making
right,
money off
right,
fans like that. Like they say, like all women they just want money and stuff like this. Like it can only be applied truly to those women, not all women. Now, don't get it wrong. Don't get me twisted. Like there are some hood rats that would not turn down a basketball player if a basketball player was like, "Hey, girl, I'll get
right,
you out
right,
the
right.
hood."
Hmm.
I'll, or even a basketball player, all they have to do is just be like, "Hey, girl, I'll fill your gas tank up," and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be with you," right? Like, but
Hmm.
really, when you think about it, that's more like a human nature thing. As
Yeah,
far as they go, like if a chick came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'll pay your rent," and if you be with me, I'm pretty sure I'll be like, hey, well, depending on how she looks, because I have to wake up to something pretty, me personally. But like
yeah. It's a
basically,
preference. Yeah, I respect that. I respect that. Yeah,
like if she, I mean, yeah, I'll be like, okay, we may be able to fuck or something, but at the same time, uh, like people won't turn down. Think of it like this: if you were to get hired if you're a man or a woman and you were to get hired for a job and you start on Monday, and you walk into that job and that your boss gives you $1,000 just for walking in, I mean, what would you do? Would you take that job seriously, or would you be like, oh shit, I got $1,000, I'm fuck this shit, I'm gonna go right, I'm gonna walk off this job right now, or right? So it's like, so I mean, that could easily go back to men as far as all women just want money, right? As far as at least the hood rat aspect of it, though. But really, the
yeah,
target for those type of arguments is just like the Instagram models
yeah.
and like this. But like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, you're right. And it's really those Instagram models, these fake models, and also the celebrities that you see on YouTube. See, when mainstream media took over YouTube, I would say during 2012, when they start promoting their channels, and after that's where you see all this bullshit. And then Instagram came around right at the same time as well in 2012. And then when it got big over the years and the guy sold it to Mark Zuckerberg, that's when it got worse. That's when Facebook got big leap because of Instagram and the models. You see them on Facebook and know they real names and shit, and then actually on Instagram, it's even worse. They very strict on there. Like I don't even mess with Instagram like that. And I tell people like just be careful, man, because a lot of dudes, they can't post naked pictures of themselves, but they have a bias for women showing they stuff a lot. But now you
On
can't.
Twitter,
Well,
on
both
Twitter, you
sides.
can do that. It's
Yeah,
weird. You
but both, yeah, it's what it is. But both sides now, you can't really post nothing now naked. Now Twitter's that's the only place you can get away on both sides. Now, to be fair, yes, Instagram done fell off. It had its day in the beginning, but Instagram was trying to be weird like Facebook. See, when you had Facebook rules to that shit, I already knew the change was coming, but you still gonna have OnlyFans girls promoting their stuff. Like, I'm not mad about that. And I said, dudes, if y'all on Instagram all day and OnlyFans all day, there's a connection to Facebook because somebody's getting that cash somewhere. Because if you wake up something pretty, I'm not mad because that's personal preference. But I'm just saying these dudes that complain, it's not that hard to get females out here now. Like, it's hard back in the day, but nowadays it's like if you meet somebody you know them by association, yeah, you're gonna get them. Like now everybody's proximity, you're gonna have to approach them. That's just where it is. And I've learned that years ago. And I was approached, then I did it both ways. And I tell people like it's not that hard. Like if she likes you, if she don't, there's many more out there. That's why I don't complain and circle jerk and being on that trauma bond and habitual shit they be on. That's why it becomes a religion, because the funny thing I learned about these dudes, they want to make out a religion out of red pill, and that's like that's not even red pill. You ass backwards, and I don't even talk about the red pill because it's not realistic like that. Because if you really red pill, you got to survive through a lot of shit. You got to understand how the world works. You got to put everything in perspective. But they all have something in goal. They just want to destroy something. Don't want you to know the real truth, what's going on. And then that's why they have these weird conversations. I stopped looking at that shit since last year, and I had to kill that shit because these dudes ain't really talking about much. They just depressed and messed up. Like you said, man, yeah, those women, that argument goes towards to these models Instagram models and these celebrities, and I see this a lot, and that's what's wrong with dudes. But it's not realistic. Like I told you about the S and the B class women here, you can't attain those women based off association, or someone have to initiate that for you to meet them. That's just the way it is, or they have to do it, or somebody's family that knows them. That's how that works. So you get C's and F's all day. Now some C's look almost like S tier, but the thing is, that's what they're trying to be. Now the men, they try to be like the S tiers as well. I'm not saying ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, why you want to be like that, to cut yourself up like that and plastic surgery on both sides. That's why you have all these echo chambers. You think that person always looked like that? No, he didn't look like that. He just had to get some surgery to look like that. Same with in sports. Sports is the biggest part of that too. Sex appeal. And I tell people, when you play basketball, and I told my dad this, you gotta look like a LeBron and a Giannis, built aesthetically. See, KD's your traditional, what you say, the average player today,
Right.
sex appeal wise. Yeah, he's fragile. Yeah, he's pushed around the playoffs, but regular season they need that. Playoffs they don't need that. But LeBron and all them guys, yeah, they broken down, they getting older, whatever. But there's gonna be another one, so they need someone aesthetically to appeal for the kids, like a superhero or whatever, right? And same with sports, they want that super soldier, super athlete. That's what's wrong with the manosphere. They look at those things as manhood. No, it's not. Manhood comes in all different stages of society. It's how you apply it in life, especially outside and actually doing things, teaching your son the right thing. Because at least I have a father, unlike most. But not hate the ones. So I have family members that don't have fathers, and some do. It varies. But the thing is, you get manhood where it is. I don't care if it's your uncles, your fathers, whoever. They have to teach you proper manhood and teach you how to learn how to fall down, and then you have to learn to pick it up for yourself. Now the daughters is different. I tell women it's different. Now you teach them about men. I tell my sister about men. Yeah, men are crazy. Some of them are decent, but you got to pick the right one that's best for you. You can't be in a abusive relationship if you don't like that person. It's your decision. That's why I don't argue with what a woman says about that. That's your decision. It's your vagina or your pussy, whatever. That's your business. I don't get into that. You chose that man to be a fool. And then you got these weirdos in the manosphere that promote this pedophile shit. I hate to say, they co-sign it. And then when people call them out for it, it's your fault. See, men are responsible for everything what we do. And I tell people, we're not females, bro. They expect us to do shit. No matter if you're in a patriarchal system in Japan, shouts out to Dre for saying that, you got to be a man over there. But they don't have to pay for stuff. That's the difference with the sexual market and the prostitution. The women pay instead of the men over here. See, men pay everywhere else except for Japan. I don't know how true that. He's right on that. He experienced, that's his experience. Now, if he was on here, he'll say that. He'll say, yeah, that's true. I didn't know that. But see, that's an Asian culture. Now, other cultures are different. America is weird like that. And people say, why men pay? Well, you don't understand. That's the West. I mean, it's culturally, it's tradition. And I see this a lot. And then the dudes complain about them. Look, you got to do two things. You can't live like you in those other countries. You got to do something over here because America is weird like that. Now, if they legalize prostitution, which they will, yeah, you can save some incels. You may not. Some people gonna die off, whatever. I don't know what both parties got planned. Like you said, legislature we talked about earlier. That's another thing. I talked about this last year, and I said, look, if that works, what these dudes gonna do? I don't think they're gonna do nothing because I think most of them gonna be who they are, mess up. Some of them gonna get out of it. I believe some people that I've talked to on panels last year and this year, they're gonna get away from that shit. But the majority I've seen in the chat rooms and panels that still complain about it, oh, they're done. I don't see them making it in the future. So yeah, you're right, because it depends on the individual. Like if you make that decision to change, I tell them, good for you. But if you choose to stay that way, oh, you're gonna waste away. I already know. I already know the situation. Like, all right, you chose to be this. Go ahead. Go right ahead.
As far as I'm concerned, the positivity that comes from legalizing sex work is like one, it provides like a safe net for women, especially like if a hooker gets raped, like she can't report the rape because she has some prior context with it. She can't be like, yeah, officer, I was raped by this dude, dude, or whatever. And but then the officer's gonna be like, okay, well, what happened? and then they're gonna be forced to say like, well, I was gonna the trick can't be like, well, this dude who came over, he was gonna pay for some pussy, blah 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 blah. They can't say that because they'll be arrested for prostitution and shit,
Yeah,
right?
in the
So
consent thing, and then the weird thing about it is
yeah, so
there's got to be that they have to have incentivization for both sides. But here's the thing: I know they're gonna be pro women, but they're gonna look at it like this. Now, if they are clamping down on these incels, I was like, look, there has to be some balance, and it will be. And then to me, if you look at 2024 election, I think they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna call it something. They're gonna have to call it something. They look at Japan and say, why are these women paying these men? Well, they have a patriarchal system. We don't. And I'm glad Dre said this to me on air, off air. He told me, he said, look, he said, sir, that's how they do it over there. Because if you live in Japan, it's a different time zone right now. They in the dark right now, but they that's how they do over there in that nightlife. So it's like another day for him. So I tell people like I don't live over there, but when he was on here telling me about it, that's the lifestyle you want. Now a lot of these dudes want to have that in the man that's requires skep, but they can't because you got to clean your own stuff up. That's why I don't promote that traveling shit. I never subscribe to that because what's the point? And you got to change your whole culture for someone else, and you got to learn to adapt to patriarchy that you ain't used to. Because patriarchy, you actually got to be a man. The suicide rates are so high, and which is true. It all patriarchy ain't the same, but in Japan and everywhere else, it is super high. And I think America knows that, and they said, you know what, we don't want that risk. We got to balance it out a certain way. Yeah, like you said, the women will get the incentivization first if they legalize it. It depends on the male, and most male won't go for it. Now, the ones that will go for it, if they're that craved, go right ahead. But they're gonna have to make a red light district in each state. Now, Texas, we know Texas is gonna fall off. That ain't gonna last forever. If I
yeah,
was Texas, don't even fight it because only states I would say that will be successful. This state right here I'm in, and everywhere else, like it's a pattern. Because eventually, in the future, when we get older and we waste away, they're gonna do the right thing eventually because you can't hold something that long. People want that change. They say, no, we gotta stop this shit right now. They don't want a lot of mass shootings in the future. That's what they're trying to do. And I get it, but to do that, you gotta clean in-house first when they're young. You can't do it around our age. You gotta get them when they're young. And
yeah.
that's where you start right there. So that's the answer I would say right there. So
As far as the patriarchy goes, I feel like now is not the right time to implement the patriarchy. Well, especially
yeah,
now today, because like that means, let's say if you have a family a household full of four, that means the man has to work and the woman just stays at home. And in this day and age, like it's
yeah.
just not gonna work out.
It's
Like
not gonna work out. No, it's
because
too yeah.
like the man is going to advocate for that now. It's like you're not ready for that. I mean, right now, you are really not ready for that. You're not ready to work those long hours, and then you barely even go home. You barely are at home and shit like this here because you got bills. You're the guy that's paying all the bills and all that other stuff, right? Like, and at the same time, the patriarchy, the only way it exists is with I am yeah, I hate to use these terms, but like higher value men. And I'm saying it, and I say that like I'm pretty sure like there's what like the patriarchy could exist mostly with like celebrities and shit like this by definition because they have most money or whatever. And at the same time, it's like the funny thing about here's the contradiction to their whole advocacy of the patriarchy. It's like they claim that all men that do anything for women are simps. Like I went on this other chick's channel and they were calling me a simp because when I go to the club I might buy a chick a drink or something like that. Just
Right,
just buy.
right, right.
Oh, you're a simp for that though. It's like, well, here's the thing, motherfuckers. This whole patriarchy thing is based on, if we're gonna go with that as definition of simping, the whole patriarchy thing, it essentially it leads you to simping because you're paying because you're the breadwinner, you're coming home, you're taking care of your wife and the kids and all the other stuff, right?
Hmm.
So so essentially you're just training yourself to be a simp for that one chick. So like if you want to go off of the fact that that I'm a I'm a simp or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. Like that's this one thing. Like the patriarchy wouldn't work in this culture no way because most people it could be matriarchal. It's actually mixed, but every state ain't going for that. They don't want those suicide rates too. And I'm glad he said that. I was like, damn, I didn't look at that because you got to actually be a man too. Like most of the stuff that what men do like back in the day. It's pretty simple now. Since it's tech driven, it's not that much of manual labor like that, but especially the engineering, like, yeah, like you got your microphones, yes, you got your cameras, you building certain tech, cars, computers, consoles and things like that. And you also got the beds and stuff like that, the housing and all that. And the yard work, that's it. But you can't do the hard, throwing rocks around, building roads and stuff. It's very limited. So they don't need a lot of concrete work. They got machines to do that now. And then they got trucking. Trucking still exists. They still got all this stuff, but it's not enough because if they're getting offshored by other countries like China, for example, which we kind of control slave labor and made in China as a corporation label. And they ain't gonna tell you that because Chinese are still fucked up over there. And I don't really care for them like that, but I understand that you participate in the dollar. And this is why the dollar's not going to fall. As long as you have slaves to the dollar and people around the world, they're always going to come to this country because they don't want a patriarchal, suicidal country. Japan is very like up and down. It's not a bad country. The problem with Japan is they have old traditions. Every country ain't going to be like Japan. Everybody's not going to be like the Asian culture. I tell people all the time, Asian culture is what it is. They're gonna have problems, and most of those people, there's a lot of old people that live in those countries. They're gonna waste away in the future. Life changes, everything adapts, and the incels, what you call what they are, they're gonna die off, and then some, it'll be some more, but it's gonna be a balance one day. Like, look, you're going to have to do something. Somebody's got to make the attempt. You can't have a manosphere space long term because I've seen this. They come and go. The first iteration was great because we was actually talking about real shit and feminism and actually helping people get a job, whatever. Because when I was younger, I did that. These dudes haven't did that. What they is Arrested Development is a combination of not giving a damn about helping the younger generation. So you're making them more like you did, not helping them aspire to do things that you can build for yourself. Because see, tech changed that. That 2020 pandemic shit was very, very resetting, and it changed. And this shows who they are. See, the reset was already here. It was already here before that. Now it's like no patriarchy. Now what you do? See, Kevin Samuels show you. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I just want my money, and that's all he care about. And I noticed that because he lives here, and then he also got a house in L.A. and New York, and travels around the world. Kevin's saying, I don't fuck with none of you dudes and these incels. I'm not helping you long term. He just hustled. It's just like a church person. And that's what they do. See, church people are richer than everybody else. They don't even pay taxes. They're worse than bankers. Bankers and church people are always protected long term. Period.
Yeah, tax exempt status. Yes, that's how they. Yeah, but like I don't know. I'll say some contradictory opinion. Like if you like those other two niggas on that podcast, the first fit ones, like if you like Kevin Samuels, you have to like them because I mean both they both in my opinion both of them they have the same beliefs, they have the same goals, but one is honestly smarter than the other two. Like because Kevin Samuels is an image consultant. Like he knows how to put on smoke and mirrors. He knows what to say, how to say it, how to present himself, and all this other shit to make him more credible. It's shit. Like the other two niggas, they're just like, yeah, women suck, men rule. No,
Yeah.
that's it. Like they're just dumb about it, and and like I mean, to the and I hate to defend Virtual Fit in this context, but it's the only time I will. It's like why the ministry rejects them but accepts Kevin because it's like they're both one of the same. It's just one of them is dumber about presenting themselves than the other. That's the only difference. Like I seen if you see the Brittany Renner interview with those two niggas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
DJ Academics versus Kevin Samuels. Like Kevin Samuels presented himself in a totally different light than I've ever seen, as opposed to when it came to Brittany Renner. Then those two niggas are. I mean, I
just like
respect.
Nicki Minaj. Yeah, she did that with him, and she knew Kevin was lying, and she was asking him the
I did a
question.
whole video about that tune, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, so I mean, but I mean, and I'll give them, I'll give Fresh and Fit respect as far as like at least they're consistent with their stupidity, as psychotic as it is.
Yeah.
But it's true. But like with Kevin, it's just like he knows that hey, you can't just be doing that to a lot of people because some of these people that you will interact with, like whether you like them or not, like you got to you got to have some type of professionalism with it too, because the platform that you're on, when you go on someone else's platform, like let's say you're, I'm just gonna pretend you're Joe Rogan, right? And I'm trying to sell you I'm trying to say the manosphere. If I go on there and I'm like, yeah, women suck and women need to basically listen to us and blah 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 blah, the cloud that I mean, when I'm bringing to your show with a lot of clout, it, your audience is gonna get the idea like, holy shit, you guys are just some straight up misogynist people that just want to control women. But if I go on there with like some Jordan Peterson esque type of, because I look at Kevin Samuels as like the black Jordan Peterson, really. But like,
Oh, that's a fair comparison. I think like that the same way. He's a mix of Jordan Peterson, all those guys too. And to me, that quite as a dating coach, and he says he's an image and all that. He understood how to finesse talking points, and I kind of blame a couple of people now. I know, but shouts out to Saru and Jay Sean. Like they admit their fault. Him got away in that Black Order days, but Kevin was like basically nobody. Yeah, O'Shea put him on, but O'Shea's no different either. So I try to tell people, I'm glad this. What's his name? That guy that checked Duke the Dawn about that. No, you got to hold O'Shea the same fire too. I hold all them niggas on fire because they're the main reason why he exists. And the white folks deal with him, but see, this is what they get for loving Kevin. Like I said, that idol worship, like I said, that gatekeeping, idol worship, false leadership, propaganda tactics, what they be doing, and then the habitual trauma bonding, like you got those followers are doing. And Nikki exposed him. Eye contact. She killed that man, Kevin. And when I saw that, and I actually saw the live stream replay on YouTube, and I said to myself, oh, she got him. Yeah, this dude, he ain't really built like that. Like he'll do it on YouTube as an echo chamber. When you get him out of his echo chamber, he just gets shattered. But yeah.
Like he doesn't want that Nicki Minaj clout smoke or whatever. Plus that Nicki Minaj is gang related. So like,
yeah,
and that's what critique about Fresh and Fit. It's like, because I noticed that they broadcast from their house, and it's like, okay, if you're gonna build a show which is pretty much a trigger show just to piss women off so that they can
right.
If you're gonna have that type of show, don't have it at your fucking house at all, because you never know if that chick knows like some other niggas that were, whether you call them simps or white knights or what the fuck ever, it don't matter. Like if she may know you may be talking to like a mafia boss's daughter or even a mafia boss's wife or a gang member's sister or a gang member's wife or a girlfriend or even a fuck buddy, but word of mouth spreads, and if she were to go back and tell them, and the inevitable would happen to you, because they're like, yeah, they live over here, they broadcast me over here, and they're saying I'm a dumb bimbo on their thumbnails, and then that other white knight will probably pull a Will Smith, well, worse than a Will Smith, and like
right.
Shit up. So like I don't know, like, and that's where Kevin Samuels at least is smarter, because at least, yeah, people might think of it as like a pussy move to try to do what he does via live stream, but it's actually smart, because like even Kevin Samuels knows, the shit that I'm gonna say to these quote unquote street women of the streets, you know what I'm saying? Like he's smart enough to be like, live stream instead of you coming to my house and shit, But
yeah, that's why I see all the time on YouTube, and but Shasa said he exposed that, and I'm glad he showed the Nicki Minaj one. Like I said it before him when that happened, and the Brittany Renner, he did that. It's a lot of people did that piece, and it exposed these dudes. But see, when I call them flimsy, they ain't really built like shit. Like they just cool with their echo chambers. I'm glad I'm doing the subject. I'll do another one on, I think on Mother's Day. I want to do a piece on it. I'll be like, look here, this is what I was talking about, and that's the main thing that you see all the time. So it's really sad that most people buy into their bullshit. What's going on, Sockpot? Say salute, man. And
what's going on, Sockpot? Say what's going on, y'all?
What's going on, Wacky?
Yeah. Chilling. What's up, man? Yeah. Go ahead. I know you were speaking, sir. Over Yahoo.
Yeah, I was talking about what you hear a lot from these dudes, and I'm glad people exposing what they are. I don't get mad anymore because I know they love these echo chambers with these guys, but their followers get on my nerves, and that shows you YouTube has been falling apart. But I'm glad I'm doing this topic because I'm gonna cover what makes an echo chamber, but I'm gonna go back to this with the notes I've written down, because this is very important, because a lot of times it's like a religion. And I'm glad I did that stream. Said, is Trump about a religion? I said, yeah, this is a religion to them, because when they get stuck in one thing, they can't do nothing. And so I just kind of leave those dudes alone. But go ahead, Wacky, my fault. You got 5 minutes or more.
As far as the topic, right? As far as the topic is concerned,
Right, right, right.
As far as echo chambers, there are two factors. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me, by the
Yeah.
way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We hear you.
Okay.
We hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. There are two factors that form these types of echo chambers. One, the need for a lot of people on here to search for a role model or a daddy figure. And once they find that role model or daddy figure online, which is weird, they will follow everything that this person says, even if it's wrong, because their need to have a role model or a father figure is going to always have them to agree with their digital daddies because they don't want to fall out of line with their digital daddies. Once again, that need for a father figure or that role model is instilled inside of them. Thus, they will never disagree with their digital daddies because they don't want to fall out of line with them. Another factor that factors into these echo chambers and why these echo chambers are so big now on here is laziness. People are just too lazy to do their own research and do their own due diligence. And you know what? I said there was two factors. I might add a third factor, which is even though some people do their research, some people don't know how to properly do research. I mean, I've seen people who go according to these echo chambers. This flat Earth nonsense is another echo chamber, you know. And when I ask people to prove their point, they'll turn around and use a meme as a point of reference. I mean, I'm like, when I see people use memes as a point of reference, it shows me that people don't even know how to properly do research. They don't know how to properly cross-reference things. So these three factors will form these echo chambers. The longing for a father figure and looking for a father figure on the internet, people being too lazy to do research, and or people don't know how to properly research. And I'm done with that.
And that's facts what you just said. They don't know how to properly research. And you said role models and laziness. And I put the laziness on the propaganda tactics because they're so lazy. They don't know what an actual tactic is. And the habitual trauma bonding, like you said, properly researched. That all goes under 4 and 5. And then the three key things I point out: gatekeeping, idol worship, false leadership, role models like the daddy figures, like you said. At all goes in line with those echo chambers because now it's newer ones that's similar to them, and it's sad. I'm not even mad at people that's part of that. It's just sad that our people just love that shit, man. It's like religion, man. You can't tell them nothing. Like, as soon as Christianity's gone, they want a newer one. They just want these YouTube churches. I think Shar said this the last time we talked about it in DS1. And I'm glad we covered that. And I said, look, it's way too much of that. And I was like, damn. And I had to do a topic something on Sunday, man. I was like, you know what? Let me talk about this because I'll extend this on Mother's Day 2 weeks from now because next Sunday I'm gonna be gone, so it's a week for me. I'll come back on the 8th and be on fire next time. So you know how it is.
Yeah, it's not even really like a problem with echo chambers. Well, first, I just want to note that I don't really have a problem with the concept of echo chambers in itself. I just have a problem with the message behind the echo chambers that have perpetuated to what's popular nowadays. Like, if there was an echo chamber, right, to say that have like a lot that promotes a lot of positive things, along with positive beliefs, and they're all based in good faith and whatnot, I believe that echo chamber I won't have a problem with. But like, if there's an echo chamber that's promoting bad information and engaging in bad behavior and all these other things, basically causing discourse amongst society, whether it be on the internet or in real life of time, then that's a problem with echo chambers or whatever. I just want to point that out as well too. As far
Okay.
as go.
I want to respond to the brother's statement. I mean, when it comes to echo, I get what he's saying, which is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to an echo chamber, you're bound to have the spread of misinformation because that's how misinformation spreads, through echo chambers. If we're going to agree that one thing that factors into these echo chambers being successful is due to people not doing enough research and or not doing proper research, you're bound to have the spread of misinformation. misinformation survives off of echo chambers. So to me, in my personal opinion, they go both hand in hand. When you have these echo chambers, especially when it comes to people that we don't even know, a lot of them, their lives dysfunctional. They're bound to have misinformation and negativity spread within the echo chambers. These echo chambers work through ignorant people who don't research. So you're bound to have that.
Yeah, to the bad echo
That's
chambers,
facts.
yeah, because to the bad, okay, if you look at the echo chambers from that aspect, yeah, to some degree I agree with that. But how about this? Like the echo chambers that are popular now, and most of them are the bad ones, are created because people are tired of hearing the old haikus. Like example, if you want to be a big dude and be big muscle dude like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, they're tired of hearing, hey, you just got to consistently go to the gym and work out, eat properly, have a better diet, and then over time you'll be the size of Dwayne the Rock Johnson. People have gotten tired of hearing that because they got to hear tired of hearing that because for one, you got to put in a lot of work, and two, sometimes due to the fact that a lot of people are just lazy, they give up after a while from having that consistent diet. And then that's when the echo chamber comes in and be like, okay, if you guys want to have a body like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, all you got to do is just drink a Heineken every day and don't even have to work out at all. Don't even have a diet. Just drink a Heineken every day. And guess what? In 30 days, you'll be the size of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Like that's the shit that they want to hear now because it's a quick hack it's a quick hack to overlap all the other actual factual hard work you need to do in order to be the size of Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, so if that's what you're if that's what you mean by saying how I'm just elaborating on if that's what you mean or not. You said that point. Hello, hello.
No, I hear you. I was eating. Sorry.
Okay.
And but y'all would say he'll be back. So hold on for a minute. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was done with my point. I was just trying to elaborate on. I was trying to see if what I was trying to get a correct understanding if that's what you were saying or not. Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Hold on for a minute.
Mm. Oh, eating ass nigga. No, I'm just playing.
No, that's all right. Yeah. No.
I'm
Yeah.
smoking too.
So I don't like to eat while I'm gonna see. I don't like to speak while I'm eating. But
Okay.
okay. Yeah, but what you just said, but I was listening to what you're saying though. But yeah, that factors into what I said about how these echo chambers become successful because a lot of people are just lazy to just do their due diligence to actually seek actual facts behind certain topics. And it's a bad thing.
Right.
It's a bad thing, but unfortunately, this is what you have. You're talking about an online community filled with plenty of dysfunctional people who are not even finding or utilizing the necessary means or the proper means to solve their dysfunction. They just come on here to vent. They come on here to vent, and although we all need to vent a little bit at times, I think everybody needs to vent a little bit because sometimes it's just life. You just go through that, but a lot of people overdo it. They overdo it, then they start trauma bonding. They find someone else that's always vents about the same thing. They start trauma bonding. Then you have the echo chambers. It's ridiculous. But
Yeah, I feel like the
oh, go
only way
ahead.
to
I'm sorry.
combat the only way to combat that is basically the good faith people need to start coming together and creating an echo chamber that counteracts that. And at the same time, the only we could not only just talk about the good things and the fundamental things that they need to do to better themselves in whatever days we talk about, but like actually show receipts that hey, our shit's working and those other niggas, their shit obviously isn't working. Right. Right. I feel like
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
the only way that's the only shot at like when I was talking about the fresh and fit dudes earlier, like basically like if you tell women, hey, you're a man and you don't and you can't flake on me or something like this, or basically you just treat women like shit, guess what? They'll automatically be clinging on to you like you're Leon Phelps or some shit, which in real time, to me, I've not seen that happen yet. Otherwise, all those chicks will be on their nuts, but instead of them looking like they're at R. Kelly's house, but they all of them chicks will be on their nuts and stiff, like, oh my god, he told me the truth. I want to marry him and shit like this, right? But like if there was an echo chamber that counteracts that, where I don't know, we did add chicks, and with our game or whatever, they want to like be with us or whatever, like that would be the only counterbalance to that. Which
I mean, to me, I don't think we even need to do all that. We just have to tell what we have to do is like, okay, I agree with your earlier point where you said that we have to tell the truth and show receipts. Show receipts of what we're talking about is true, as far as if you're talking about being productive and men actually learning proper skills that's going to bring them some level of productivity in life, that's going to bring them in some sort of economic status in life, and show receipts for that. We could do that. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about a lot of these people within the viewing audience, they're going to have to make that decisions for themselves. So it's just so much counteracting you can do when it comes to that. People are just going to have to make that decision for themselves, as far as whether they want to stay on that echo chamber, or I'll say the echo carousel, excuse my language, or they want to get off that carousel. If they want to get off that echo chamber carousel and actually realize that what they was co-signing is false. People are going to have to make that decision. And I think that in order for some people to come to that epiphany, is that they're going to have to hit a real low in life. They're going to have to experience something where what they learn from YouTube caused them to hit a real low in real life. Then they'll wake up and say, hey, damn, all this stuff that I was absorbing from the internet just had me go through this very bad experience. Shit, you know what? I can't fuck with this shit on the internet anymore. I'm out, man. I gotta change my mentality.
Right.
People gotta hit that sort of low. Do I make sense?
Yeah.
Do I make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. That's what happened to me the first time around on YouTube. I would say my old channel from 07 and 2012 when I lost it. And I was consistent with YouTube for like 3 years straight. After that, next year, I got tired of it. I had to do something constructive, and I did that in my 20s. It was like mid-20s. After that, workplace, 2 years, and I didn't like the job at the tail end of it, and I said I want to do something else. But I didn't think I was going to come back on it in 2020 like that. So it was a hiatus, and then, you saw me on panels and stuff like that. But I didn't think I was going to do content again like I did last year. And I noticed something. These dudes are still fucked up about 2020. This year, I would say, well, last year, because last year was different. It was fun for me. But this year is kind of like, it's the same repeat, but the difference is people are moving away from it, which is a great sign, because like we said earlier, like you said, you ain't going to change nothing, but the ones that are leaving it, they're being finished like for a long time. So I got done with certain individuals, and then I had to cut off some people. It's like spring clean edition, and like I did that on the vlog stream. I said, look, I'm done with this shit, because you're not helping nobody but hurting the younger generation. Y'all spew the same bullshit I've seen all the time. So it's bigger than just what we call them. Now, some people say echo chamber is good or bad, but still, I don't like none of them, because it turns into religion at the end of the day. And I understand it on the internet perspective, but in the real world or realistically, you can't get away with that, because they're going to find out about you based off the imaging stuff, the internet. Like, you can't hide anymore. I think my dad was saying this like years ago. Yeah, you used to hide and all that. We used to get away with that. But nowadays, since the smartphone, it killed everything. That's the greatest equalizer. That's worse than the gun. Next thing you know, you can't really say much anymore. So that's why I'm very, very careful what I say online and every other sources and things like that. That's why I always try to keep it what it is. And I try not to sell out like that. And I tell people, look, y'all can have that shit. I don't want that shit, because who wants that type of fame anyway? Because mainstream media don't care nothing about you anyway. They already took over YouTube years ago. So yeah.
Can I say something real quick? I know
Go ahead,
Wolf.
Wacky.
That's his name, Wolf. The brother that coming, Wolf. That's his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I know he coming. He got something to say.
That's right.
But yeah. I just want to be real quick. One bad thing about these echo chambers, I think.
I'm listening. I'll be right back.
All right, cool. I think Sir Yahoo spoke about this in one of his previous videos. Is that these echo chambers prevent a lot of people from being independent thinkers. I mean,
Right.
it's very important for a person to be able to think for themselves and be their own individual and be an independent thinker, for they could question things and understand things for themselves. Because that's what makes you you. That's what makes you unique. That's
We're
what
having
forms your
technical difficulty.
identity. Say that again.
I don't know. For a moment, you were like boarding in and out, Wacky.
Oh, damn.
Can you repeat what you were
I'm
saying?
sorry. Yeah, okay. What I was saying is that, it's important. These echo chambers prevent people from being an independent thinker. And so, but Yahoo pointed that out in one of his previous videos. And it's important for you to think independently, because thinking independently is what makes you your own individual. It's what makes you unique as a person, as a human being. And it's important for you to be your own individual because it forms your identity. And it helps you, and being an independent thinker helps you understand things for yourself, so you could have the type of wisdom that you need in order to know how to navigate this society that we live in. And the echo chamber prevents all of that. And like Sir O said, that does a lot of damage to the younger generation, who's very impressionable, who might think, okay, these are older people, they've lived longer than me, they might have some wisdom. That's what the younger person might say, but in reality, it's not fucking true. So the younger get misled. But I'm done with that. I'm done.
Yeah, excellent point, Wacky. I mean, I say it all the time. I see it out here, even offline. I tell people, like, look, you can't listen to an older generation that's brainwashing people, especially a Pacific generation. I can't stand, even my own doing the same thing. And I try to tell this to Art off air one time. You can't save everybody. Let the younger generation grow and learn how to fall down. That's the best way to learn, and especially on YouTube. If you've been doing it long as I have, for like 15 years, and I've done it 10 years on this second channel right here, and I tell people I went through hell and back with certain individuals, and I'm here, and I'm glad I got 1,000, because that lets me know I can lead this shit, and that shit can grow, because evergreen content creation is key, and it will always exist. You will always have stagnation content, like Omega was saying. He was saying that it's here, and there's a reason why it's going to stay for a short term. They ain't going to last long, because there's always someone replacing Fresh and Fit, whoever, or Kevin, because they're here for the moment. Long term, I know they ain't going to exist, because it's going to be somebody. It's always going to be somebody better than them. But nah, I'm not none of that. No, them niggas is over there. Like, what I'm saying is, when you look at them guys, that's short term, and their content is trash, man. Like, I've listened to their bullshit, and I tell people, like, that's not helping young people. That's the shit I used to hear back in 07 and prior. Like, that shit is dead. Like, they should have came on YouTube when it was all right, and then they came at the wrong time, because younger people don't want to listen to that shit. Quiet as kept, because relationships is cool at first, and when I found out in 2020 it was decent, but until I found out there's some holes in their argument, and then I found out it's a repeat of what I heard from SWP and others. He changed, everybody else changed, and I found out complaining about women all day is dumb. It's so easy to get them now than it was back in the day. So if you can't get them now, that's it.
Technically, what they're saying has been existing for a long time. I mean, I hate to admit this, because I love this genre, but look at rappers. Rappers say this all the time. Bitches ain't shit but hoes tricks,
right?
Shit like this, right? But they feel like they take that and like apply it to real life, as far as like, if you literally say to bitches, that bitch that you ain't shit but a hoe and trick, guess what? You're gonna get that shit, because look at the rappers when they say it. But the difference is context matters. Like, when rappers say this, they're saying it through a song and art and stuff, which is under the guidelines of like a fiction, because it's just a song. It's but when they say it, they're saying it under the context of them being qualified. They're being I guess you could say, essentially a part of a form of academia, where they know women and they know that, and and because they're by definition they call themselves dating coaches or gurus and stuff, right? Like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre ain't saying that about being dating coaches. They're just saying it as like a song in the context of a song, which song shouldn't be taken literal. Otherwise, like when the weather girls say it's raining men, guess what? A shit ton of dicks are gonna fall from the sky or something, right? You know, like you gotta separate. And I say that because I see an argument all the time.
Hell no, run indoors. Fuck that.
Yeah. You know, they don't know how to accept things from reality, and that's just like the video game thing, and it goes back to how they think too. Quiet as it's kept, that's how they think anyway. But the average person know not to deal with them, and you got to understand you cannot expect change if you deal with them all the time, and then you can't complain about the same women that you're dealing with. My issue with them is they be on that bullshit 24/7. It's like a religion, and I try to tell people, see, you got to get off that shit. See that fake gender war and shit? We've seen this all the time. That's not content. Long term, it's not conducive helping somebody. Next thing you know, that shit's gonna fall off to the drift. And now you're right. Yeah, rappers, entertainers, and athletes said the same thing, but they still fucking them. That's the hypocrisy that I can't stand, bro.
No, you good. But you know exactly what I. Oh, what's up? Oh,
go ahead, Wacky.
It was good. Oh, just to carry on with the discussion. Oh, by the way,
oh, go ahead, Wolf.
No, if you're going ahead, I'll finish what I want to say after you.
All right, thank you. You know what I can't stand about these female conversations is not even the fact that there, you know, a lot of people in these spaces are talking about females. My issue is what exactly they're complaining about, which is they're not complaining about how systematically you have laws and even other things in society that favors the female over the males, that over time put males in a position of being disenfranchised. They're not complaining about that. They're not complaining about how, you know, if you want to speak about the relationship sector or the relationship part, how there's not enough females that are actually marriage or relationship material. What they're exactly complaining about is hoes not finding them attractive. Excuse my language. That's the part that get on my nerves. They're complaining about whorish females not finding them attractive and not wanting to sleep with them. That is like basically the epicenter of the complaints of a lot of these people in these spaces. Whores not wanting to sleep with them, or whores not want, you know, not fitting the description of the type of females that they claim that they're looking for. Thus, they're trying to change the whore. It's almost like where you got a lot of these females that try to change the bad boy and turn them into good men instead of actually leaving the bad boys alone and find the good men. That's what you got these guys doing. They want to change. They want to turn a whore into a housewife instead of leaving the whores alone and looking for those who fit the description of a housewife. That's an issue for me.
Or just fucking the host and just leaving it at that at best. Just fucking them and going.
I mean, at best. If they want to do that, I mean, because that's technically that's the most you're going to get out of them.
Yeah,
that's the most you're going to get out of them.
I mean, I would fuck a hoe, but I probably want to make him a housewife.
Does anybody remember the song "Ain't Doing It Right"?
No, I don't remember that song.
Wait, what was the song?
If you remember from the Dr. Dre album, there's a song called "Not Doing It Right."
There's a lot.
Now this is one of them occasions when the homie's not doing it right. So what have you found in my hoe you like? But you can't make a hoe a housewife. Ring a bell?
Right. Right.
I think I got a wacky inside his head, put him in the trunk of a car, and drive him down memory lane because he's forgetting a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, I probably forget because you talking about the Chronic. I probably heard that song, but done forgot. You know.
Yeah. Gen Z.
You're getting old. You're getting old, fam.
Shoot.
But I will say this, you know, since we were talking about the whole issue the whole issue of echo chambers. Some people have to understand there is a distinction between echo chambers and fellowships, right? And unfortunately, I think some people kind of misconstrue one for the other. There are a lot of echo chambers. Unfortunately, a lot. We talk about people being misled. A lot of the young people come into these things. I mean, how many of them have even been taught how to exercise a critical thinking skill? Because a lot of people have been taught to like take things, especially as with each passing generation, to take things at face value. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I understand that some people are caught up in the echo chambers, but that tells you a lot because, like it says, like hurt people, traumatize people, damage people will try to damage people, and dysfunctional people just want to bring dysfunction because they don't understand how to deal with their own issues. Especially considering that when you deal with people who are like you say, trauma bonding, they're caught up in the trauma and the emotional thinking that they cannot think rationally. Unless somebody can pull them aside and get them some help, you can't help them. It's kind of like what's the analogy I could use? It's the Batman and the Joker analogy, if I may use that. Because both men are traumatized, and when Batman asked Joker, "Let me help you," Joker looked at him and said, "Hell no." And he used this analogy of two convicts trying to escape prison, and they needed to use a 2x4 to jump across a gap. And Joker says, like, compares him and Batman to like one guy gets across and promises the other that he'll hold the 2x4 while he gets across and not pull it out from under him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the analogy makes sense to y'all.
Yeah, we understand it, but I'm talking about it in general, like on YouTube. What I found out mostly, it's a thing. Yeah, it's a fellowship. It's a little difference, but it goes in line with what I was saying about why they treat it like it's a religion. I've been saying this for like 2 years straight, and then it's sad. You give them a solution right on panels or whatever. If you ever meet one of them in person, they always show their hand and see. One thing I've noticed,
I think it's because
it's just what it is.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
But I'm just saying they show their hand is like we tell them, like the next thing you know, they my issue with it is like it's too many. And I see it in other communities too. Like I said, they don't. No, I see a lot of YouTubers doing the same shit, but as Black people I've seen, especially on YouTube, it's come redundant. And like where's the point of the solution? Because the younger generation, they're not gonna listen to shit long term. Because I studied this recently in months. They get tired of it and it's a drop off. Now I've noticed something in certain views. It don't bother me or whatever, because I realize what people want and whatever. Because see, I know the summer, everybody's going outside and they seeing things and get away from this isolation pandemic stuff. Now I know other countries is dealing with it in their time. They have it real bad over there, but we ain't gonna mention them. We already mentioned them earlier. So here it's like, oh, it's gonna be wild this summer. And I predicted what's gonna be, and they ain't been outside in 2 years. And I think me and Dre talked about it. That's gonna be the thing. And I've been going outside way more and seeing like nothing has really changed, really. It's just they don't care about this stuff long term. They just here for the moment. So, like you're saying, is but the solution's there. They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, and the thing about these echo chambers,
well, I think also is like when people talk about solutions, the issue is like some people just look at you like, don't tell me what to do, because if you give them a solution, they look at you as if they're preaching, because the question is, defenses are so up, they look at it as threatening. I mean, excuse me.
Like, and the weird thing about this whole, especially with the whole dating's manosphere thing, like I don't know, they kind of forced me, and I guess I'm not trying to say this in a bad way, because I've learned a lot, but like they kind of like forced me to take kind of like the feminist route, if you could say. And I say that because like I've been on YouTube for a long time, for about 10 years now, I would say. And I had a channel, and like if people only knew me, you would knew that I would have like a lot of misogynistic takes, like I would say a lot of misogynistic stuff, just out of sake of guy code, right? Like I mean, I feel like both sides have their own form of misogyny. Like women will say like, yeah, men are scrubs and shit like this here, but like they want to go in depth as it is now. Just like in my old videos, I would be like, yeah, fuck all these hoes and all this other stuff, and bitches ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Pimps up, hoes down, shit like this, right? But like after just engaging with this type of manosphere, like forces me to like somewhat be on their side, and as far as at least just trying to understand where they're coming from or whatever, and while at the same time be critical of my own team, which is just other men, right? And and then I would come in contact with other men saying, why are you more critical of the men than the women? And it's like, well, my answer to that is the same way like a coach of a football team is more critical of their own team as opposed to the opposite team that they're going to play against this Sunday. Because it's like, I could be critical of the other team as far as us preparing for the game for the Sunday. But the problem is, if I have somebody on my team that can't pass the ball worth a damn, or if I have a few wide receivers that can't catch the ball, then guess what? If we go against the opposition, we're gonna get fucked. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's common sense. Yeah. See, that's my whole point of doing this subject right here, because it is what it is. Like, if you focus on one side so much and learn the extremes, what about your own? Because 95% of the time, I tell these dudes, you cannot focus about the opposite sex if you ain't have your own house cleaned up first. And that's why I always said, if you change internally, they'll come around. Trust me. I know this thing because I've been in a relationship before, and then women will come around. And it's a handful I've met in person that's done that. It takes a while, and it takes very patience, and it takes work. And this is why my parents was married so long. And I laugh at these dudes. No, it's possible. You just got to work. You know, can you deal with that person long term? Can you have a relationship before you get married? They did that. So when he had me 5 years later, that was a different thing back then. Yeah, he had his heart broken in the 70s and whatever, but that's just what it was. But see, my mom wants this little dream, like try to compete with 40 years of marriage like her parents did. See, here's the thing. Her father was married twice. First marriage wasn't shit. She played that color structure because she was light skinned, whatever, and that didn't work. He got him somebody, a dark skinned woman, but that's my mom's mother. But that's no here or there. But you see this stuff all the time, but these dudes do not live in reality. They think they do, but they really don't, because women look at things different than we do. But I don't study them. I just let them say what they say, and I hear they I said, damn, I didn't know they think like that. And then the same with the men, but the men have to understand we're responsible for a lot of shit. You can't complain about much because we're not women. I think me and Dre said this 1,000 times. We don't have that button. Yeah, everybody has their own emotions. The thing is, we don't have that button to do what they do, that third button, because no, we have to internalize our shit, and then next thing you know, we express it a different way. Yeah, we have feelings, but we put it into hands use. You know what I mean? Because that's how I grew up, and you cannot do that. Yeah, we cry when it's a inter-family thing, but outside it, you can't do that for the rest of the world. So I understand where certain people come from. I grew up like that, and sometimes that's changed when I got older, because it's different now. It's okay to cry sometimes about pain and struggle and loss, but you heal from that. It's a long process, and I'm living proof I've done that. So these dudes, they don't know how to heal, and that's what me and DS1 be preaching. He said you got to heal before you build, and he's correct. You know, and that's the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do, and tell them, like, that's the only solution I got. I'm not going to sit here, be on panels 8 to 15 hours complaining about these hoes all day. They're so irrelevant, because they're going to live their lives and they're going to waste away just like everybody else. And if they do live long time to 100 years old, they still going to waste away. It's just, you can't change what you already done messed up. Now, if men want to change shit, stop saying the same shit over and over again and let the young people figure it out. And they be like, oh, we need to do this. And that makes them work. Think about it. You got to leave them a proper legacy, no matter what it is. You got to make sure they're right, you know, because the younger generation, look what we did in mistake wise. They're going to fix the problems themselves, but we got to do something to guide them. You go guide them right. See, the older generation, they done fucked up. We ain't got time to listen to that shit. And I had to cut certain dudes off. Like, I ain't listening to that bullshit. I want to tell my advice: learn from everybody, think for yourself, and here's the secret: you got to learn to fall down first, then you grow. That's how you expand. And next thing you know, you teach the next person. It's like each one teach one, but you also got to teach the younger generation. Don't baby them. Let them do their thing. You just
Which is
gotta
why
let
I
them do
feel
their
like
thing.
the concept of holding women accountable is dumb as
Right.
fuck. It's like, okay, let's say a ghetto hood rat chick with 10 kids and like 5 different baby daddies comes along, and she's bigger than Lizzo physically, and yeah, but like, and she's like, yeah, I'm a 10 plus 2,000, whatever, or just a 10, right? Like, if I go up to her and I say like, no, you're a 2. Look at you, you're ugly, and you're bigger than me, and you got more facial hair than me, and my nut sack is bigger than your boob sack, and and you got like 18 kids with 5 different baby daddies and shit like this here. You know what she's probably gonna do? She's gonna be like, well, fuck you too, and move on to and still have that same mindset. Me christening that ugly hood rat bitch 5 or a 4 when she thinks she's a 10 ain't gonna do shit for her but say fuck me and move on to the next dude and regurgitate the same shit over and over again behind obvious lying reasons why she believes she's a 10. That's all it's gonna do. Like, it's just gonna, all it does is just give H men some pussy repellent to ugly chicks, I guess you could say. Like, you're a 10, bitch, you this and that. Okay, bitch, be gone. That's it. And she's gonna go. Like, it doesn't change her. It just, at best, scares it. It does at best. It just make it. It provides like a what the fuck how do you say a countermeasure to chicks that you don't want to fuck with at all. So, like, are you really changing another one? Are you really changing women like they claim to with this whole holding women accountable thing, or are you just worry about yourself? I mean, if you worry about yourself and you want to use that mechanism to try to worry about yourself when it comes to engaging with those type of women, I guess there's no problem with that, but don't try to frame it as like holding women accountable. Guess what? This will motivate women as a whole to
First of all,
get their shit together. You know what I'm saying?
excuse me,
Go ahead.
but that's not holding women accountable. That's calling them out on the bullshit. That's what it is. And then you
Okay,
just like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say is, I see your point. But sometimes when we talk about holding women accountable, people are saying it in such a way that's so ambiguous or so vague that people are like, what do you mean? Nobody's like I said, like, nobody's asking the critical question, like, what the hell you mean? What are you talking about? If they don't, if somebody who try to help you, try to explain to you what's going on step by step, and trying to make you understand things, then it's no point. What they're actually doing is just, mislead you. Let's not forget that there's a lot of people out here looking for guidance, but there's a lot of hucksters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of con artists, a lot of sharks out here who just preying on everybody.
Yeah, I don't even look at it from
we
that.
got the trauma bond.
I just don't look at it like holding
women accountable. Let me make a point. Hold on, Wolf. Are you done? Are you done, Wolf? I want to wait until you finish.
Go ahead, Wolf.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Omega Magic, he made a point earlier where he said that, with him listening to a lot of the extreme statements that people in the manosphere make would force someone to side with the feminist route, right? When he said that, and my response to that is that, that shouldn't be the case. You should, people should be on the side of just the truth. What is true? Because both the feminists and the manosphere make points that have truth, but both of them also make points that are bullshit. So, but when you take the route of truth, you throw away the bullshit and you just take the truth from every route. See, when you take the route of truth, you go according to what is proven to be true. And when you go according to what is proven to be true, no one can deceive you. You cannot be misled by any type of extremist statements when you take the route of truth. So, that's where we're supposed to be on. Take the truthful route. We don't need to say, okay, well, this side is full of shit, so now that's automatic. That means that I should take the opposing route. No, you don't have to. Just take the route of truth. But I think another point the brother made when he said, I forgot the other point I made. Okay, I'm done.
Right. Right. I mean, I feel like it's sad. I hate to admit this too, and that's a fault. That's a flaw about me that I definitely need to get over. And that's where I'm screwed. That's where I screwed the pooch in a lot of areas, right? Like, because that mentality has
All right,
motivated me
now, yeah,
different
go ahead.
sides too, and like, but yeah, you go ahead as far as another point.
Yeah, but that I mean, oh damn, I didn't realize it was 3 hours, man. It's another decent stream. But I'm just saying, like y'all said, is y'all make some excellent points. Like, yeah, we see this a lot, and people just gets tired of the shit. Like, you see this a lot, and then like the points he was saying, I was going Wolf's point. Like, no, you got to call out certain things they say, but his thing, and the men too, and that's why they repeat the stuff that we say. You got women using certain male talking points. How can they be feminine and brainwashed like that? Now, the feminism ain't the same it was years ago. It's not like what it was on YouTube, because these are masculine talking points they be talking about. I don't get mad at them long term because I understand what they're talking about. It's bullshit. Do I listen to content? Hell no, because I already know what to expect. But a lot of those women are brainwashed. But if you listen to manosphere content, that goes for men and women. It's not what it was a long time ago, and I left that shit a long time ago because some days is done. Like, you can't even say much anymore. You might as well lead this shit and just let them fight it to the end. So, like y'all saying, yeah, you gentlemen are correct, man.
Yeah, and yeah, like to piggyback off of what you were saying, Sir O. See, what people in today's manosphere don't realize is that the next step, the step that should have been taken a long time ago, after the 1.0 generation been established these certain talking points, the next step is to be politically active out in the real world and change certain policies that has a history of keeping men disenfranchised, as far as policies such as unfair, policies such as child support. I'm not saying to remove the child laws concerning child support, but they should be more updated, and there should be more policies there for so a lot of males would not feel extorted. Because when it comes to child support, we all know that because there are certain loopholes within these child support laws, a lot of mothers take advantage of that and utilize it's money that's used to help their children, and they utilize that money for themselves. So there should be, these child support laws should be updated. I'm just giving an example of the things that the men should be fighting for. And also, as far as we should actually make laws to reduce men being falsely accused of sex crimes that they did not do, and punish those that falsely accuse men of sex crimes that they did not do. Certain things like that. Things like that we should be pushing for,
Exactly.
or the improvement of the education system so boys could be more educated, since we all, those of you that do research when it comes to the public education system in America, a lot of boys are falling behind academically, and a lot of times it's due to how the curriculum these public schools are taught. They're really taught to cater to the female mindset instead of a male mindset. So we should push for policies to cause a counterbalance between males and females, for so no gender could be discriminated against. We should fight for an equal balance, but we're not doing that, which is a failure on the manosphere's part. But I'm done with that.
Yeah, but the child support thing, it's like a failure because the ironic thing is, like, the child support laws that are implemented now, like, men created it, particularly rich men, because the mindset of creating those type of policies, because like overall, like, pretty much the women will get the money with the kids or whatever, and they saw it as like, okay, since they got the kids, they're gonna need money, so fine. The rich men that created these policies, they were like, okay, fine, you can have the kids while I get to go and do my thing or whatever reason. He's along with the money to take care of my kids and all that stuff, right? But the problem is, guys like me who are broke as fuck are affected by that, because the hood rat chicks that see that policy could easily be like, so I get all your money, and if I'm taking care of the kids, even though, like, to be fair, they do need the money, but like at the same time, the ratchet ones will be like, yeah, they need the money, but they're trying to like really just uh manipulate that law to their favor because obviously they hate the man and they just want money and they're lazy at the same time. So like, but at best for the state that I'm from, from what I experienced from the child support laws, it's like I'm paying child support now, but only it's because it's mandated as far as like if the child is not living with you, but you're the one that has the job, then the person who has the job and who doesn't have the kids living with them, guess what? They pay a set limit to the mother and the kids, and the set limit that I'm paying now, I'm not tripping off of. So I mean, that's a step in the right direction. It could be updated in a better way. I would say whoever is working, well, fuck. I'm trying to figure out a way on how it could be better as far as like child support. But like, if whoever has the kids and whoever is working first, and if the opposite has the child most of the time, that person who is working who doesn't have the child should pay a set limit to whoever is watching the kids who isn't working. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whether it be the woman
I
is
was
working,
just
but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just giving like an example of
Right.
what people in today's manosphere should be fighting for. But that's a that's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. It's like a lot of laws, especially when when it comes to laws concerning alimony, right? Alimony and or spousal support. Like these types of laws are like either almost or over 100 years old at a time where females did not have as much economic and educational opportunities as they have now. So of course 100 years ago or somewhere close to that, if a female got a divorce financially, most likely they were at a crossroads financially. Now it's not much the case because females have just as much economic opportunity, if not more, than males. So we live at a different time now where alimony and spousal support is not really needed. So therefore, why does that shit still exist? In my personal opinion, it shouldn't exist now because now the times where females are at an economic crossroads, these times are gone. So we should be fighting for that.
Yeah, I mean, which is why I also feel like, yeah, that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm for like women working and stuff and the man being at home. I'm like, okay, fine. You want to be the female that wants to get equal pay as a man? Go for it. Let's do it. That way, I mean, because you got to take the good and the bad to it, just like the men have taken the good and bad as far as like being the economic head of household in that context, like, so if we get a divorce and I'm gonna be left with the kids and you're gonna pursue your career, whatever, guess what? Whatever you get, I can collect child support off of you. Like I had a partner of mine whose baby mom was in the military, and like he had like some warehouse freaking job, but like he's collecting child support off of her while he has the kids. And I don't know, like I don't know the full details. I just know the vague details of it. But he's basically getting child support off of her, and I'm like, oh, big ups, because he was my partner, and yeah, and it was a guy code moment, I guess. So yeah, that's why I'm for. Like, hey, let these women work. Fine, let them work. They can, just as long as they take the good and bad when it comes to being the head of household, just like men have been taking the good and bad as well.
All hail Grace. Yes. What's good, sir?
What's going on?
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yo, what's up?
This is really good in regards. What's good, everybody? How you doing, fellas? That there should be policies put in place that men should try to strive to fight back now that we're, I guess, in a modern age now that everybody's working. And let's be honest, there has to be some balance ground in regards to how we deal with the children. I've been hearing the stories that like these ladies are taking the money and not using it to the best ability to the children, and that's a problem. And there's some other things, even with alimony, that and I don't think if y'all guys could correct me, that don't you have to be around marriage for over a decade or more, be even getting some form of alimony. Last time I checked.
No, you don't.
No.
No, it has to be at least at what's most I've heard is like at least a year. You have to be married before you collect that. But
Yeah, it's a year.
Yeah.
It's a year.
It's a year now.
some
Oh,
places
oh,
different. It could be like 60 days or 90 days, but like, yeah. And I'm going through a divorce right now, so yeah, I'm dealing with all that paperwork shit that I'm dealing with right now. So,
Oh man.
no. And I take it you've been in it for much longer than a year, a marriage, if so, sir.
yes, I have. Like, and it's gotten to a personal, deep level where it's kind of like it rivals the Brittany Renner PDA Washington situation. But I'm not going to go too far with that.
Oh, damn, bro, damn.
At least as far as just seeing my kids, because I mean I'm not PJ Washington. I don't have his money at all, so it's just basically just me trying to see my kid.
But I think most ladies now today kind of like that way. They say if I can get some out the man, it's better than nothing. Now, since they're not gonna really push back on the laws, so they're just gonna go rumshack and say, it's a free for all. Some of y'all men said they'll say that if you don't participate, you don't have to worry about these things. But like I said, life has to continue. Because some of us gonna probably have some kids. I'm saying what we just say, we're not gonna sit there just take a knee. I mean, this just make no sense. When a lot of dudes argue about say, I'm gonna be a bachelor for life and this and that. Okay, so that means you don't want no kids, you don't want no actual relationship, especially in the corporate world where you look more favorite if you're somewhat in the marriage. You get me? For some opportunity from what I'm hearing. So I just don't understand the rhetoric for the long game for a lot of these dudes, I mean, not like everybody like all of us gonna build Fortune 5 corporations on our own. So I'm just saying.
Well,
It's funny,
basically, they don't have no end game at all. Now, the ones that do, that I've met on panels and comment sections, they do have an end game. I notice people are making moves, but the majority I see I think my age group, older and probably younger. That's not very young, but in between younger, like close to my age, don't have no end game, and it's sad. And like Omega saying he's going through a divorce. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, that goes on every day down here. True. I mean, yeah, people get married left and right, but the divorce thing that never stops. That's like I think one of my dad said, he's an auditor. He said the money it's just like it always ever flow. It's like up and down, because the thing is they're gonna print more money and shit. It's like in that aspect, But the divorce thing, that's how they make their money, man. Like, they looking for see who's gonna get divorced with. Now, if you've been married longer than that, like 30 years, 15 years, oh man, that's like an investment. Now, if you did it like 10 years,
I agree.
It's not really that much. I mean, yeah, you're getting some money, But if you're like a wealthy person down here, oh, that's an investment. And especially if your kids grown, like here, it's nothing. It's nothing. They like, all right, I got it. But 9 out of 10, they give it to the woman, and sometimes they give it to the men. But if he has a good case, the thing is, you have that evidence. Hey, you in? Because see, I think 2024, you're going to see a lot of different moves. It's not going to be like what Biden is. This is a repeat of what Obama did. Like some of the things, like the Russia thing, that's based off what you're seeing now. They're trying to clean up the shit and the information that got out. What Trump did. I'm not really mad at this point because I think this is like a back and forth and clean up all the information that's spread. So they really want Snowden quiet as kept, but I don't think they gonna implement that. If something happens to Putin or the oligarchs, that information is gonna get out. And what are they gonna do is they're not gonna blame Putin, they're just gonna blame Trump. They said Trump stole the election, and I'm not surprised. It's what they always do. And this
you mean
is
when
he
runs again?
I don't think he's gonna run again because he knows he ain't gonna run again because they're gonna look at him as a traitor. So they got two options. You got Pence, and I said this last year, and what's his name? Rand Paul, because people gonna trust in them as heroes. But the thing is, Democrats ain't got nobody but women. I just saw a French election today, right? Macron won. And here's the thing, and I mentioned this earlier in the stream. I looked at the stat sheets of the nuclear reactors. Now, they had stats what they want and what they're for, and Macron say he's for the people a little bit, and Le Pen is pro-Putin. But the nuclear reactors, she had 20. This dude had 6. He got 6 nuclear reactors that he wanted, which is France is okay with. They did not want no damn 20. And now she's a female, mind you. And I said to myself, that's some crazy shit, but she has this masculine temperament, pro this, pro that, and I'm like, wow. that lets you know right there what the future election is going to be. And I think France election showed me something. I'm glad he voted for Macron because I knew he was going to win straight down the middle. The way the metrics was looking, he was 58%. She was 41%. She tried to hold on to those country grounds in France that's in the woods, whatever. That didn't work. They didn't want to hear that. They did not want to hear that.
So Macron got reelected, right?
Yeah, he got reelected. Yeah, you can watch on France
Is
24
he?
right now. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
like I think he's one of the fourth presidents that ever got reelected or something like that, or one of the four presidents that ever got elected like that. But he had a strong case. He had a strong case.
Is he pro Putin or anti Putin?
He's anti-Putin. He can't stand Putin. He's not. No, Le Pen is pro Putin because what I mentioned about the nuclear reactors, she's like she had 20. They had a statue on France 24, right? Macron had 6 on it, and they showed his, and he want less. She want 20. Now you see the aggression, right? And I said to myself, you can't do that as a woman, as an elect. People are gonna look at that, and then I'm glad they did that because that's what's gonna be in 2024. Because everybody's talking about nuclear this, because Putin done got that conversation started. So now the pressure's on what you're gonna see in the future, because that election is gonna tell what the next 2 years is gonna be like. See, Biden, I know what he did with the sanctions, because what he's trying to do is wear down Russia, break them up. And he's trying to get Snowden, but he's going to actually blame Trump because they already know they look at him as a traitor already because of the election. Yeah. So Jan 6 and all that, it's all a buildup. See, Ukraine's going to be a puppet just like Afghan. So the thing is, Zelensky, he better be careful because this is going to be a repeat of history once again. But that's America. I'm not mad what they do, and that's just the context that I got from that election because Macron's showing people trust him. They didn't trust that woman.
Sir, can I say something, sir?
Go ahead, Wacky. My fault. My fault.
Yeah. See, was the female that Macron was running against? Was she open about being pro Putin?
She
because in the Western Hemisphere, anywhere in the West,
yeah.
Or she stumbled around. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere
but she is pro
Putin
though. Yeah.
Okay, but was she open about it though? That's what I'm asking. Was she open about it,
or
was she like hinting to us?
But she was open about certain policies that Putin did. They asked her those questions. They hounded her, and she said, "Yeah, we're trying to give them peace and what shit." And they didn't like that. But here's the thing on the statue, what I saw
because
go ahead. My fault.
Okay, because it was leaning to what I said. Like right now in the West, it is a dangerous thing to be pro Putin in the West. If you are an elected official in any country in the West, which would be Western Europe, the Western Hemisphere or the Americas, you cannot be pro Putin, or at least you cannot show it by any means. Because if you do that, you will lose favor with the people. The media in the West will expose that and will convince the people to not elect you. Even in America, you could be, listen, right now, they could be like a local mayor, let's say a local race for mayor. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, right now, if 2 people was running for the mayor of Atlanta, right?
Right.
And then one opposition put out some information about the other candidate being a friend of Vladimir Putin. That motherfucker won't get elected. Even if it's some local election in Atlanta, that person will not be elected. It's a dangerous thing to be an elected official or running for any type of elected office in the Western Hemisphere and actually be pro Putin or actually be known as a friend of Putin. You have to separate yourself as far from that. Donald Trump was like probably the last elected official that got away with being pro Putin, because at the time when he got elected, the situation with Russia and U.S. was not as severe as it is now.
Yeah, with the Ukraine stuff.
Not necessarily, because you got to look at Rob DeSantis. Like, I feel like he would definitely win re-election, and he does seem like he leans towards pro Putin. So, like, I feel like there's not a Democrat ever that can run up against Rob DeSantis that would ever take his spot.
Oh, he's done. He's done in Florida, because you know why? Because you know him and Disney. Disney, which is one of the most powerful one of the most powerful corporations that's in Florida, even though they're based in California, but Disney's in Florida and they're real strong over there. Disney is removing, because of a new law that Ron DeSantis legalized. Disney removed any type of financial backing from any Republican candidate, and they putting it all on the Democrats. So it's like in Florida, Democrats are having a heavy financial support from Disney, and that's big. That's big. So I think Ron DeSantis, man, he's you can't fuck with Disney, man. Disney. I mean, I'm not a fan of Disney, but they are a strong organization. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, they gotta be strong because they mess with the fucking kids. What do you expect?
I mean, they ain't mess. Okay, well. What started the whole thing was like basically like because Disney came out saying like, hey, they might have positive more representation of like as of LGBTQ people, whatever, which I'm for. I don't give a shit. But like because of that, they people like Rob DeSantis like call that wokeness, which is another separate conversation I could go in depth on. But like because of that, since Rob DeSantis is pushing out and like other right wing propaganda, right wing news outlets are pushing out the propaganda that Disney are a bunch of pedophiles, blah 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 blah. Disney's like, okay, well we're gonna remove all our campaign donations that we had towards you guys, and then also Rob DeSantis he also introduced a new law where it has something to do with the roads, and I cannot remember exactly, but it causes a form of backlash as far as like Disney World, which I think that's in Florida, or is it Disneyland?
Yeah, Disney World is in Florida. Disneyland is in Cali.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
There's a difference between those two. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, okay. That's the whole breakdown from what I've gotten.
Well, one of the main things, based on what I've read, one of the main things that caused this clash between Disney and Ron DeSantis is that this law, I forgot what it's called, but it's a law that Ron DeSantis put where the law is about the education system in Florida. Well, that's the nickname. The Don't Say Gay Bill. That's like the nickname that the media gets, but the actual name is something else. Well, in the bill, the bill. No, the media is calling it that, but that's not the actual name of the actual bill. I read the bill. No. The actual it's a different name. That's a nickname, because if you read any article, hold on, bro. If you read any article that speaks about the Don't Say Gay Bill, they put quotation marks in it because it's a nickname. That's not the actual name for that policy. The entire bill is really mainly about parents having more of an influence and more decision-making power when it comes to the child's education. But within the bill, it talks about how Florida students from kindergarten to third grade will not be taught anything concerning the promotion of the LGBT community, right? That caused a clash between Disney and Ron DeSantis. And another thing also is that Disney had like their own autonomous government in Orlando, Florida. They had like their own governing body. And Ron DeSantis just destroyed that. He put a new bill destroying that. So as a result, Disney's saying, oh yeah, okay, now you're removing whichever financial support from your campaign and from Republicans as much as possible, and we're giving it to Democrats, But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
I mean,
that's interesting.
I mean, you're close to that, but like it's more about like teachers not engaging in conversations with children about the LGBTQ community, as far as discussing sexual orientation and gender identity, basically, and I even having open a discussion about how it's accepting that if a person comes out as like trans or gay, like that is cool for them to do that. I mean, because that's what the ultimate conversation will lead to when discussing about the LGBTQ issues and shit, right? Like teachers cannot implement that in the classroom, and parents come into play as far as like they dictate as far as like what would be bad and what would be good as far as like discussing gender identity. And with the parents, especially right-wing parents, that could be pretty much anything. Like basically a teacher cannot say, "Hey, I'm gay." A male teacher can say, "Hey, I have a husband," and the parents will be like, "Well, you can't teach that to children because you're indoctrinating them, saying that it's cool. You're brainwashing them into being gay." Which, in my opinion, that is just crazy talk, really.
Yeah, but that's between the grades of kindergarten to third grade. You just can't discuss that between those 4 grades: kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. After the third grade, if a teacher wants to discuss that, that's maybe up to them and the school to decide.
Oh
but
yeah, that's
yeah,
an
but
age difference right there.
yeah, but the thing is that
too soon,
see,
to be honest with
I mean, well,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Hold on, can I say? Hopefully, I'll be real quick. I'm sorry. I'll be real quick. I'm not a fan of Rod DeSantis, but I do kind of agree with that because why do kids between kindergarten and third grade need to know about different sexual orientations and homosexuality? I mean that's a kids should not learn that or learn that at school. You talking about kids between the ages of 5 years old to 8 and 9 years old learning about these things. What they need to learn about these things? They don't need to learn about that. No, maybe when they get a little older,
the whole intention is to entice them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing about it is they pushing the narrative like when there is talk about the LGBTQ community, like when they're trying to implement it in schools, they make it seem like people that advocate for that are advocating for like hardcore gay sex in school curriculums. Like like they'll make a Disney movie called Cock and Loaded and have 2 dudes like having butt sex and jacking each other off and all that stuff to show it to kids. Shit. That's not the case at all. They're just saying it like, hey, if a person, it's okay to be attracted to another person. And if you really think about it on a broader scale, we teach that to kids on a heterosexual landscape anyways. Like look at every Disney movie that's ever been produced. It's always about some prince who really doesn't do shit at all to get the girl that he is, but because he just shows up and goes, "Hey, I'm a prince, where my bitch at?" And the bitch goes through like a whole bunch of other shit in life, but for some reason Disney logic comes into play where like she hasn't done shit unless she marries a prince. And whatever for Disney logic, but the overall result of that is what you'll see is at the end the female princess and the prince will make out, and that's it. It's not like you watch Aladdin and like Princess Jasmine and Aladdin are doing 69 and are having a you don't see that shit. Like anything explicit that is sexually explicit, they just cut out. But the concept of a heterosexuality is still there. So in a sense, we promote sexuality all the time with kids, even as parents. Like if we see like a boy play with another little girl, and I have kids, so I never said this, but like I've seen where like my son will play with like a girl and they'll be like, "Oh, they're gonna grow up and get married, and oh, they're gonna have kids," is all that stuff. But I don't go up to my kids and be like, "Yeah, man, since you guys are boy and girl, you guys have to play house, you have to have sex, and then she has to suck you off, and then you have to eat her pussy." I don't, we don't say all that shit. We just go, "Oh, that's cute. They're playing together. They're gonna be married." That's it. Like so if we can do that with heterosexuality, we should do it. Homosexuality shouldn't be an issue. It's just acknowledging that.
I mean, but not at the school, not at the place of education. When it comes to place of education, especially educating younger children, just don't speak about it. Be neutral. Younger children between those ages, I'm talking about between the ages of 5 and 9 years old, they shouldn't have to be exposed to that. That's up to the parents to let it be up to the parents to decide that. I'm not saying that in the public school system that they should demonize homosexuality. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying demonize it. I'm not saying glorify it. Just don't talk about it. It's just like, just because, when it comes to school children that age, sexual orientation and sexual identity should be irrelevant. All right. Maybe definitely when they get older. When children get a little older, then you can talk about that when it comes to that. But at that age, they're not ready to have that type of conversation. So that's why I don't disagree with that sector of the bill, even though I don't like Ron DeSantis. I don't like him. I think he's a piece of you know what. But I have to agree with that side of the bill.
I mean, I don't know. In this day and age, kids are getting smarter and they are like they are figuring shit out at a faster rate. Like
It's the technology, man. That's why, and like you said, the
yeah,
sexual stuff, and that was what triggers that. See,
Yeah,
parents
and
can't
let the
control
parents
what they
discuss
do.
that. Let the parents discuss
Yeah.
that. That's the thing.
I'm
We
sorry,
we
I'm
under
sorry.
we understand.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm glad you
Okay, go
mentioned
ahead,
that.
go ahead.
That's why I
Yeah,
feel like that it's best to have conversations, and you can have a conversation with the child without being too sexually explicit about about sexuality, whether it be from a heterosexual aspect or a homosexual aspect. Like I could teach my son, hey, listen, if a guy has a crush, looks like he's showing more affection to he's showing the same type of affection that you would show to another girl, that is okay. That is, and you don't have to adapt to that, but at the same time, just hey, it is okay. He's not a bad person for liking another guy the same way you would like a girl. He's just a human being just like you. Like I could sell that idea to my son.
Yeah, but that goes into what I said
Do that.
about that. I mean, I get what you're saying. That goes into what I said about leave it up to the parents for them to speak about these types of topics for children that
right,
age.
right.
I don't think that a child at that, you being a father, you have every right to tell your son that. Every right. Nobody can take that away from you as a father. You have
That's
every right
right.
to tell your son that. That's what I'm saying. Leave it up to the parents to speak these type of conversations to children at that age. Like children that age should not have to go to school and be, just be taught that type of topic about, the LGBT community. Leave that to when they get a little bit older. When they hit like the 12, 13-year-old mark, when they, maybe in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, when they're when they start to reach puberty, stuff like that. In my
Yeah,
personal
that's
opinion, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
yeah.
I'm not
No,
saying
you yeah. You're right, and I think that's the best age STEM to learn. See, like 5 and I would say 3 to 9 years old. That's like their brain ain't fully developed until when they get to the puberty stage, like a teenager. I understand you learned a lot. Now it's good to talk to them privately at home at that age too. If they ever ask, and if I had kids, I'll say, yeah, if you want to choose that, that's on you. I ain't gonna love you no less. They always said that in the family. We have a few kinks in our family. I mean, we didn't acknowledge them like that, but here's the thing though, they still have a life like everybody else. I mean, that's the choice that he made. Now, here's the thing. Do I hate the guys? No, they just have a different perspective, how they look at it. I may too. Now, do I talk to them every now and then? Not as much, but there's a community down here in GA, like in Midtown, like I said, do gay people kill each other just like niggas? Yeah, they do. They have their own little cliques and everything else. It's just, I see it all the time. When I first came down here years ago in 2010, I never tell this to people. I see a lot of crime like that, but crime is mixed here. Yes, heterosexual men do kill each other at a fast rate, but it's a balance between both sides doing the same thing. But here's the thing. I've noticed a lot of accidents, and this is a guy named Lee Hampton. He said a lot of them, like, when they get high drunk from a party, like they come from these small towns. And when they come to say like, yeah, they think they're accepting here. That's not the case, what he said. He gets these guys that want those relationships, right? But they end up dying in these car accidents, driving drunk or whatever, high, whatever. He said sad, but they're young. He said they just die young. Even though he's on the other side of homosexuality, right? And then I said to myself, I was listening to one of his videos, and I was like, okay, I know what he means by that, but he's lived in Georgia for decades upon decades, and he see this a lot. And he said that's a problem, but nobody's not going to speak on it. But I don't say nothing about it. I say he's an expert in that. But then that's just why I had to fall back. But I understand. I said, man, it's a lot of problems. But see, people try to put that stigma, and I understand why. But yeah, they do kill each other. And I mentioned that in very vlogs trying to say, yeah, you just got to know your surroundings. But they don't let them teach that when they're very young. So that's a good thing that people are knowing that. See, Florida is kind of, out there like that. But Georgia's kind of like, they don't want none of it. But it's a balance between like, look, you can do that privately. When they get older, that's their thing. They got lawyers and everything. They got protection. You do something to them, it's like the people over in Israel. It's the same shit. They're protected. That's why I don't mess with that conversation. I let them have it. I said, no, you do your thing. We already know what you support, Google and YouTube. I'll let y'all have that. I'm not gonna argue with it. Especially it's a lot of you down here in GA and everywhere else. It's not just GA. You know, they everywhere, man.
You know, Florida is a bipolar state.
Yeah,
It's about. I
yeah.
used to live there, so I don't know if anybody else lived there or used to live there. I used to live down in Florida. It's a bipolar state. They don't know what they want to be. At one time, they want to be to the left. Another time, they want to be to the right. They don't know what
Right,
they want
right,
to be.
right, right,
It's
right.
about. I've been there. It's a bipolar
feel like
state, man.
Atlanta and Florida combined is equivalent to what California is now. That's the way I look at it. Like,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. If you look at Georgia, for example, if you look at Midtown, that's where most of the alphabet group lives. But here's the secret, though: they do move out of that area to live in outskirts of those counties like Fulton and whatever. They in Cobb, they and everywhere else. You don't see it, but it's a small couple. But I tell people all the time, my mom be looking out. That's a couple right there. I know it's in the church. Think about it. It's been like that forever. The sad part about it, they do kill each other over some dumb shit, emulate, you know, what the heteros we've done. So it's kind of like we said, fuck it, go ahead. Ever since they have rights, I tell people they went down. See, when they did not have rights, they had their privileges, they was protected. But once they get rights like black people, well, here you go. You're taking that risk and we let you have it. You know, that's how I look at it. But I understand they're protected in certain aspects. Not all of them are protected as much, but the ones that are, if you're in status, like I mentioned about the S and the B class of people, what they look like, right? They're always protected down here. But the ones that's like, if you look C class, for example, based off their so-called community in the F class, it's a class of Civil War and that. So they played the class looks thing as well. And I don't mention it as much, and it's a problem. And now you got some in the manosphere space co-sign that stuff. And I'm not mad because this is the modern day manosphere what we see now. And I'm not mad because you see this years ago. And I tell people, yes, you're going to see people like that. If you have incels that are like that in those groups, yes. And that's why I don't say nothing to them on panels. I say, you can have that. Okay. Is something wrong with you? They got therapists for you. That's why I can't speak on their lifestyle like that. You know, I have to know them. If they're like family or some friend, yeah, that's cool. We just ain't be cool sexually like that. But that's your belief. You know what I mean? Because I let them, it's like religion. You have your belief, you have your belief. I'm not gonna argue. Especially a Christian, because a Christian ain't gonna change. Muslim ain't gonna change. Nobody's not gonna change. It's just who they are, man.
coming from an atheist perspective,
Yeah.
right? My perspective is this is how religion honestly was created. Like, I feel like a bunch of dudes got together and cultivated a shit ton of ideas, and just for the ultimate goal is control. Like, that's why I feel like that's how Christianity, that's how Buddhism was created, that's how Islam was created, that's how Catholics were created, Judaism or whatever, like
Judaism, yeah.
I'm mispronouncing, but yeah, I feel like that's how all religions are created. That's what the ultimate reason why religion was created. It's like a safe space for the wicked deeds and particularly just control. Right.
That's your classic, like we said, echo change, gatekeeping, idol worship, role models, false leadership. It all covers what I was saying. But online, like, I'm glad Char said this, YouTube red pill churches. And when she said that, I was like, she has a point. I might have to cover that on Mother's Day, because this is going to expound on what I'm saying right now. It's like, you dudes got to calm down with all that rhetoric, man, because going against females, that's like a religion. You can't even do that. Now, I understand they have their problems, and it's sad though. Like, I ain't got time to argue with no female quiet as scared. Let them be who they are. If they want to be on the alphabet side of the group of the community, like if they're lesbian, I leave them alone. I let them go at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my business. You know,
to cater to both of you guys' points, like, pussy is so much. If you really look at it from a different perspective, pussy is a lot more easier to get than it was before, at least in my time growing up as an 80s baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like I'm a nerd, right? I like nerdy things like wrestling and I like video games or whatever and stuff like this. Like, growing up, like, bad bitches, at best you could say, like strippers, they would look at me and be like, yo, this fucking nerd, like, fuck this nerdy guy or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because that wasn't popular or whatever. But my time of growing up, and and the jocks, because growing up back in the 90s, everything was so tribal as far as
right. I remember,
right, like guys like me will be getting swirlies and get their lunch monies taken away.
Oh yeah, I seen that. Oh yeah.
Shit like this, right. But now you're in a generation where, like, you know, because I fucking with this one chick. She's like a bikini barista. And like she's more nerdier than me, so much so she has her own Twitch channel, and she put me onto video games like Fortnite. Like I'm in love in Fortnite, right? Like, but I know like if we were to take our interaction back to my time period, like she would deem what I like as not popular or and not the anything. I was a nerdy kid or whatever. And like she would be fucking with the jocks. But nowadays you got those chicks on there, and this generation of men look at that as like, oh, that's a problem because what? You're a female, you're not a real gamer. And I'm like, dude, like ultimately, isn't this what you want? You want to like chicks to be on your level and like you and shit like this. But now you got pussy in front of you. You're just like, well, this is suspicious or blah blah blah. It's like, just shut the fuck up and take the pussy, dude. Like win.
Exactly.
Now you're making the pussy into a problem. Now, like, goddamn, what the fuck you want? Like,
yeah, I don't understand it, man. Yeah,
I really don't get it. You know, I always felt like I was an alien because I've always been saying the same thing. Pussy's easy. The thing is that is the pussy getting quality pussy? Pussy's easy if that's what motherfuckers want. If that's all motherfuckers want is some pussy, that shit is easy. But the thing is that as a man, especially when you're older, like I'm 37, you know, I'm 37, right? Especially as a brother that age. What happened? Oh, you're 35? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, especially when you're getting older, you should have a little bit more wisdom and search for something and search for something that has more quality. So, the thing is that so once you reach a certain age as a man, pussy should not even be on your mind because you should already understand that it's so goddamn easy to get. The question is, what can a female offer me outside of her pussy? What is it of quality that she could offer me to make me a happy man long term? Because of course, you know, us men, we of course we like some of that, but the thing is, what's going to keep a man long term is what you can do for a man outside of the bedroom. And that's what men should be looking for. That's hard to get. But if you're talking about a piece of booty, you know, a night of fornication, that's easy to get in this society. We live in modern day Babylon. I don't, you know, I mean, whether you believe in, you know, the whole thing with Babylon or not, we live in a society where a night of fornication is so easy to get. I could get that fast and I could tie my shoes, man.
oh yeah,
You know?
oh yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
do defend like
Yeah.
Cardi B the WAP song for Cardi B and all this other stuff like that basically pushes towards a direction for women to embrace their sexuality because I mean prior to again going back to my generation, it was harder for women to come out as like they're freaks, like even though they are freaks because of slut shaming was a
Yep.
big thing growing up and shit. But now all of a sudden, like you know, even though R&B singles, even though female rappers like the Eat Me, Missy Elliott's, pretty much every single female that's a female rapper has always embraced and held. Dare I say, every R&B female singer has always talked about their sexuality and how horny they are. Like the song WAP is pretty much a blueprint on what the fuck women want because I mean, a lot of bad bitches look up to her and shit like this, right? And they like the song WAP and also you got to take into consideration that rap is also like rap hip hop music as a whole has always been like, how do I say it? Has always been like a self-report of what that artist has gone through. Like if you're a drug dealer and you could rap, you're gonna hear mostly songs about how they're in the drug game and how they did drugs and slaying drugs and shit like this. Or if you're a party rapper, you're gonna hear them about how, hey, I used to party with like 4 chicks and blah 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 blah. So if you're a freaky hoe or whatever, you're gonna hear songs about how freaky they are and what turns them on and what turns them off, blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. And with and just focusing on Cardi B, like those bad bitches look up to her. You know, if she says that song, you're gonna get I get the indication that maybe this is how particularly all the bad bitches of this generation think. So pretty much she's like giving out a blueprint. You could say, look at it like she's giving out a blueprint to men who have trouble getting pussy on how to get pussy. But guys don't look at it like that. They look at it as like, oh, it's a problem and she's worse than Hitler. Literally, there was a tweet saying that shit. But like, I just don't get it. It just makes any fucking sense.
Yeah. Man, it's been 3 hours. I appreciate y'all, gentlemen, for this discussion. I gotta shut this down, so I gotta go do something real quick. So, any last words, gentlemen?
Yeah. Well, this was a good panel. It was great to speak to you guys, and you guys have a great day.
All right, man. Shalom. Peace.
Shalom.
It's been a while since I've been interacting. I believe I interacted with 2 months ago, but I'm glad to have another great conversation. And if I could do a plug for my channel, if I may, I'm on the channel. It's called the Omega District, and I touch on a variety of different topics. This is one of my topics, and I hope to have this interaction with you and everybody that's watching. I hope you enjoy what I had to say. And with that, I'm out.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it, Omega and the legendary Wacky World and Wolf coming on today on Sunday Madness. It's like a little classic right here. But the thing is, that's all I'm gonna point out. I'm gonna bring it on Mother's Day. I'll be back 2 weeks from Sunday because this week is gonna be a hard week. Because next week I'm gonna take a break and come back on the 8th. So be on the lookout for that. So I'll schedule that soon after this. So appreciate everybody coming. Sock Passe, Chaos Reign, Psycho Candy, New. She sincerely Nalia, y'all subscribe to her. She's got a good channel. And who else came through today? Mace, appreciate you. Leticia, appreciate you for coming through. Everybody that came through today, and it's been a good one. Shouts out to everybody. So with that, I want to say peace and shalom, and I'm out.